What up, YouTube? This is your boy Liger, one half of Enduo, and welcome to another episode of the Endcast. As I got a bunch of people here who got stuff to talk about. So, before we get into this, I'll say, let me introduce my cast first, then I'll put up a warning because I need to put this warning up front, live, and center so people can understand where I'm coming from. So, first of all, I'm gonna head from my left to right. Anderson Archilla, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much. I'm still a broken basket case.
Hey, better to be broken back case of 6 feet on this side of the ground. Then
Yeah, I'm just like my gamepad. Broken, but it still works.
there you go. Then we have, of course, Kanoshi. What's going on, Kanosh?
Kanoshi Abominita here. Glad to be on another Enduro podcast. Can't wait to talk.
All right, man. Next person up in this place, of course, is the local Mario head. That's my version of calling crackhead, but Mario head. KH Anime, what's going on, KH?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the one and only KH Anime. Can't wait to discuss what the tonight's topics, and remember to keep calm and game on.
All right. Then we have, of course, the one and only, the wily, the crazy fox, Mr. Red Fox. What's going on, Mr. Red Fox?
It is Mr. Red Fox, and I am crazy, but I'm crazy like a fox.
Maybe crazy like Star Fox. Who knows? Anyway, we have P-Day. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Just happy to be part of the podcast.
All right, and again, my brother across the pond, he knows what's going on. SK Massive, what's going on, man?
Hey, this is SK Massive, and I'm proud to be a Nintendo fan.
Oh, okay. Then we have, of course, Tuber. What's going on, man?
Tuber here, no problems.
No problems, ready to go. And of course, we have Mr. I can't even pronounce it, but he derails stuff a lot of times. Hopefully he'll be nice tonight. I have Mr. Triple M. What's going on, Triple M?
It's me, Mario.
Okay, this time you keep it simple. Thank you. Thank you. I know sometimes you go crazy, but this...
I'll keep it simple for the intro, but the outro, there's definitely something special.
Oh, boy. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll go to that. All right, before we get into our topic tonight, which is basically... The topic is how hype has become the downfall of reality. Basically, we're talking about games and how hype can contribute to certain things, even to gaming viewers, misinformation, all kind of stuff. And I think all my cast members go have things they want to bring up and talk and everything about that. But before we get into that, here's my disclaimer. The way I'm going to talk about it. As anybody who listens to my channel, I don't care what console you play. I don't care what games you buy. It is your money. You buy it. And if you enjoy it, that's good. Bad, because I've bought games that got reviews of 3 and 4s, and I enjoy the hell out of them. They never were broken, but again, we'll get into that topic later on. So if you bought a game that we're gonna bring up, i.e., Halo 5, Fallout, whatever the popular games, if you bought it, I'm not bashing you for your decision of buying the game. You bought it, you enjoy it. But we're gonna look at this thing objectively because there's too much stuff going on in the gaming world, and it's getting crazy. So again, if you bought a game and you like it, we're not. Well, I for sure I'm not doing this to bash you for buying the game. It's your money, so enjoy it. But that said, we're going to go into our topics tonight. So one is 2015 is almost wrapping up. But also 2015, we've seen a lot of BS. And maybe that's why Red Fox, that's why I'm happy to have Randy to bust some balls, because we saw a bunch of BS this year. We have hype taking over everything, and the hype has fallen flat many times this year. This year I've seen too much hype fall dead flat, dead pan. And games media now are so in bed with certain things now that they're not being honest with their reviews. One, they're not being honest with their people, to their audience when they're talking about games, and they put up this falsehood that everything is perfect and the game media and the game industry is live and vibrant. In most cases they are, but in many cases they're not. So that's what we're going to be talking about right here, about that stuff right here. So first of all, I'm going on the same line again. I'm gonna ask everybody what they feel about what's going on with all the hype for this year. So, Addison Archero, what do you think about the hype versus the reality when the game comes out?
Oh, you mean any game?
Any game. I mean, I'm just giving a base level so people can understand where you guys are coming from with hype versus, hype versus the reality. Because everybody was super hyped for the direct. As you know, some people fell flat, some people like it, so it's good. So it's just that kind of perspective with direct, Batman Arkham Knights, all these games got hyped up, and some of them has fallen flat many times. So that's why I'm trying to get a base level for everybody here: hype versus reality. What's your thinking about that in this gaming industry that we are in right now?
Well, I think it kind of goes a few different ways. There's the manufactured hype, where everybody pretty much gets swallowed in, and they believe it until they actually get what the actual thing. There's the other type of hype where essentially people come up with things in their head that they expect to come true, but then they get disappointed each and every time when they don't meet up even near to what they had in mind. And I guess there's another type of hype where essentially, how to put this, no, never mind.
Okay, all right. Kanushi, what about you?
I think people. I think people are. I think the answer is pretty simple. A lot of people are sheep, and they listen to a big website like IGN or GameSpot. They take it as gospel. They take it as the truth. Well, if IGN said it, it must be true. If GameSpot said it, if this is the greatest game, it must be true. And my quote-unquote, whatever favorite journalist says this, then, it must be the truth. So, therefore, it must be a good game. People do way too much begging the question when it comes to figuring out what game is good or not.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's cool. K Channeman, what about you?
Well, to me, it seems like when people get all hyped up for the next big game, they take it as, oh, this game must be good because, oh man, such and such said, oh, look at the graphics, or it's a true next gen experience. But when that next gen experience doesn't come, people are like, oh, so disappointed. But no one ever calls the big media out for none of this stuff. They just keep on accepting whatever the next big thing to hype about, and it's just an endless cycle.
Well, they pretend to like it.
That's true too. They pretend to like it. Well, it is what it is. But okay, Red Fox, what about you?
I'm not going to sound like everyone else, because, I agree with what everyone else has said thus far, but I'm going to take it a little step further. You're right, the hype that people build up is the problem, and then they pretend to like it, blah, 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 blah. But, it's sad when they hype themselves up about something, and it clearly doesn't meet that hype. As a matter of fact, in some cases, it could be a major letdown, but then they make excuses for what they hyped up for not being at that level that they hyped it up to. Or, either they make excuses or they jump on the bandwagon instead of just enjoying it if they truly like it. And acknowledge that it's not perfect, but,
Yeah. Now, like I said, trendsetters is the way it's going on right now. P-Day, what about you? Sorry. Oh, yeah.
I think he's muted.
Yeah, okay, he got muted.
Yeah, I actually muted him because feedback was coming from him.
No, I understand that. Whenever you get a chance to just let us know, P, you could unmute yourself and talk up. SK Master, what about you? You hear us right? What about you? What do you think about the hype and reality thing?
Well, I'll say that I love the hype, and the reason why I love the hype is because it gets suckers to spend money on a game that they're not going to enjoy. And if he happen 1, 2, 3 times and they keep doing it, then I'm happy for them because they're just wasting their money on things that they don't like just to follow other people. And if that's what people want to do, then all I can say is good for them. You know, for me personally, if I know what I like and I look at stuff and if I like it, I buy it. If I like the style of it, I buy it. I never buy anything based off of what other people say. You know what I mean? Unless I do my own investigation and notice that maybe it's something that I've never tried before, but it's something that I would actually like based off of the style. A lot of people buy stuff knowing that they just don't like that style of game. For example, let's say it's an RPG. You know you're not an RPG fan, but because people talk about a game, say for example Fallout, they run out and buy it knowing that they're not gonna, it's not their type of game, and then they end up complaining about it. So I like it.
In other words, you just like seeing the foolishness going on.
Exactly. Yes.
Does Fallout 4 come to the RPGs though? I mean, they neutered a lot of things.
Well, they say it's an RPG. I mean, IGN them say it's an RPG. They also said that they give the game a 9 point whatever, and said that it crashed on them once while they were playing it. So, hey, it doesn't matter. Hype is hype.
All right, can't argue with that point right there. Tuba, what about you? What do you think?
Well, I think a lot of the gamers they are a bunch of followers, but the reality is that there are billions of dollars at stake in this industry. So they'd rather hype and influence people on what to buy than have people make up their own minds. I mean, you have people that may have been a fan of JRPGs back in the day. They talk about the old systems and how they had all these JRPGs, but they don't want to get a 3DS because handhelds are for kids, or Nintendo. They say Nintendo has no games, but all they were really playing on the other two consoles are remasters and broken games that have to be patched. So the reality is that people are just being led to and influenced to buy whatever these companies want them to buy, and people got to wake up to the reality that they're being manipulated.
All right, can't say nothing towards that. What about you, Triple M? Don't tell me the cat got the tongue out.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a real conundrum to me because you have some of these companies actually telling you or showing you in generated graphics that this is how the game is going to be, or this is what they have, and then when the final product comes along, it's not something that they hyped it up to be. But then, even a few years later, when a sequel comes out, they would roll themselves over it. Like, dear God, have you guys not learned? I can't even say experience because it seems like you guys experienced it, but more like forgotten. But yeah, compute your brain to learn what happened last time and be cautious next time.
Never forget Watch Dogs. Never forget.
Assassin's Creed Unity and Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Batman, yeah.
They're mauling you.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning Peter Molyneux. But with me, it's even more egregious because I used to be one of those people that blindly went for some type of games. Not gonna mention one because for some reason I should have seen it coming. But I digress. And then when I see the sequel coming out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sit back, wait and see how this turns out. And to think that I thought that there was that I know that there's people that could be a lot smarter than me would use their brain and come to that same conclusion, but it seems like the masses is not that way. So, to the eternally words of Levelhead Gamer, slap yourself. Stupid.
What the frick's wrong with you, dude? Jesus Christ. Alright, well, look. Okay, so look, everybody got their bases. I hope everybody could figure out what's going on. See what each person's coming with their level of the hype stuff. Because my thing is, like, does anybody? I have a video on my channel called Hype. I don't get hype for games. The one game that broke, and Metroid Prime was the game that broke the hype for me. Once I got that low expectation and that game blew my mind, I said, you know what? It makes no sense to get the hype. The thing that killed me about this, and it's in a video that I'm gonna post later on, is because people are thinking. I mean, I love video games. Don't get me wrong. Everybody likes video games, but that's here. But the thing that's killing me right now is just that I work in the industry. I got contracts that's worth millions of dollars and stuff. I can't be that. I can't take it as personal as you, as most people, most gamers, I should say, is taking it. It's a form of entertainment. As SK said, if you want to, and that's been my mantra. If you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. But the problem is, though, a lot of people, as we could bring up people, but we ain't gonna. But jump the fence so many times is crazy. We got people making videos about things are wrong with the game, but they pay the hell out of that game. There's people who I'm gonna boycott this game, but they're the first person in line to buy the game. It's just weird, and as I said on my podcast with thing, look, I'm a big and again in the same video is gonna come out. Zelda Twilight Princess, and again that has an LBC in it for sure. Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda 3D Zelda game, and like I said, if you don't have the feature that I wanted it, I'm not gonna jump the fence and go buy the game or whatever. No, if I need to see what's going on with it, but I would say that I'm not gonna buy the game because I already have the game already in the form that I want it. Prettier graphics don't make me want to go buy the game, but I'm gonna stay with, like I said, I would stay in my own lane and say, you know what, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite and jump the fence like most people. Now, sadly, I watched a video with a certain person again, an next person, and that person is a female. And that person said, I don't, no, not even her. A lot of people say that too. Twilight Princess is too dark, too muddy. I'm like, 60% of the game is in a realm called Twilight. I mean, it's in a dark realm.
It's in the title. It's in the title. Twilight Princess. What did you think it was going to be? You're in the realm of light and angels and celestial beings. What? I mean, they tell you in the title. Look, Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm creating my series, Loss of Brain Cells, because it's ridiculous when people say stupid stuff.
You're giving me a headache with this stupid shit.
It is. It's funny. But
I mean, even the trailer, even the first trailer that came out for Twilight Princess back at 2004, really too dark and dingy. I thought you guys wanted that. But I digress. Not many people are the same.
It's all the fan base, man.
But we'll digress from that. Now, like I said, 2015 has been crazy. So I'll list off these games right here, and you guys, I'll let you guys do what you want to do with the game. That's why we're going piece by piece with the games and let you go. So one of the games that started this whole reviews are this, and then. You don't, and it does not. Let me put it this way, people, read the reviews if you can, because if you read it, you find a lot of crap in the reviews that does not reflect that big old nice little printed number at the bottom of the damn thing.
Oh no, not crap, more like inconsistencies.
Yes. So with that said, one of the games that started off this fallacy that I hated that started this double standard that people was giving it 9s and 8s, but it never brought up the topic that everybody hated. And the sad part about it, that's the reason why the game did not sell, was Evolve. Nobody brought up none of IGN, GameSpot, Game Trailers, Polygon. Nobody brought up the whole DLC problem with that game. No one.
Yeah.
But they say, oh, it's a great game, whatever, and then 2 weeks later, that thing did not. It's like deadpan. Not even a month. It was like 2 weeks later, that thing was $20. It was like people lost interest. So I'll call out names. You guys, what do you think about it? Basically, I'm asking your thoughts of the game and how, like I said, how the reality did not fix the hype. Red Fox, since you jumping at the bone, I'll let you go.
Are we talking about Evolve or a game that was just overrated?
Whatever you want to think. The game is Evolve. Go at it.
Well, okay, fine then. Evolve, I think that it was more than just the reviews where they didn't talk about the elephant in the room. I think it was also the fact that, I mean, the developers of Evolve said it. They said this game was built around the concept of nickel and diming gamers for DLC. Like, everything was going to be DLC and pre-orders. And, I mean, like, I know we like to say that a lot of gamers are ignorant and they're perpetuating the process, but gamers, I think inherently gamers want value. They want to feel like their dollar matters, that what they're spending has purpose and value, and that whoever they're buying this product from, they're getting a fair return, an equitable exchange in goods. And when you're paying $60 for a game, and apparently that wasn't enough for them to make the game complete. They held back other content to nickel and dime the shit out of you down the line. I think that kind of led to that game being rejected. Because people were like, wait a second, if Evolve was free to play, and then they nickeled and dimed you with DLC, it would make a lot more sense. But a $60 game, and then nickel and dime you with DLC, that's sad. That's sad, and I mean it's sad for gamers who bought it, but it's good that it did not sell well. That's a very good thing that game did not sell well.
Okay. Well, Kenoshi, what about you? What do you think about Evolve?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised more people didn't talk about that game. Like that. What a lot of these games are turning into. Pay $60 for that's the entry cost. But if you want the entire thing, you're gonna give us another 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 and you know Evolve is just another perpetrator of the current state of things, but people buy it. You want the whole experience, you're getting more. And the Taken King apparently fixes a lot of that stuff, but the Taken King should have been the
microphone. Basically, a microphone check-in right here. Did everybody? I'm making sure stuff going on. Is Kenoshi everybody hear that him breaking in or breaking out? Because I want to make sure my internet is straight. Because so far my bars is all the way up.
Yeah, he's been breaking up on my end too.
Okay, I'm making sure because like I said, this is my test now with everybody in this thing right now. This is my test now with everything going on right now. Okay. So, all right. Kenoshi, I mean, I barely heard half of what you said. Can you repeat it again?
Oh, what? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were breaking up. I was just making sure because, like I said, now that my internet's been stable, I'm gonna make sure it's not my fault on my end that I couldn't hear you. But I know you were talking about Evolve and you were breaking up a little bit. So go ahead and say it one more time again.
What I was saying was that Evolve is just, they were charging $60 for it, so a $60 entry fee, and then, if you wanted the entire experience, you had to pay another $50 to $60 to, $100 more dollars, and it just seems like that's where modern gaming is headed. Because look at Destiny, the base product was $60, and then you had to pay another $30 $20 to $30 for the expansion packs that came out a few months later. So, and then the Taken King that came out this year, the Taken King Special Edition, that supposedly fixed a lot of those issues, but again, that probably should have been the Destiny that those people should have gotten last year.
Okay, that's cool. King of Pasha, can you hear us? Grim. I ain't hearing him. P, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what do you think about? I mean, whatever topic you want, put it on. What do you think about Evolve?
I see Evolve as I see it as a view of modern gaming, where it's all about nickel and diming the player over time. So to me, it's more about profit rather than quality.
Okay, short, sweet. Can't argue with that point right there.
Yep.
I'll give it two. But what about you, Evolve?
Well, it was one of those games that I was just looking how it would turn out because me personally, I think from what Mr. Xbox was saying that yeah, gamers do want value for their dollar, but the thing is, gamers will put their money towards something that they feel like a company that they feel like they can trust for a quality game. And in this case, I've never really, this was kind of new to me, like the game, this game being made, so I don't know who was, behind it. But then when I heard the controversy surrounded it, I just kind of like, that made my decision to just leave the game alone altogether, because to me it was just like, oh, another one, like one of those types of games where it's just, taking advantage of consumers once again. And, that's my take on it. It could be a good game, but the thing is, I don't have any problem with the DLC, but when people are hyping something when there is clearly an issue with the game and nobody really says anything about it, then it just doesn't sit well with me. It just reminds me of those those IGN, or because there's a lot of money at stake where people are getting paid to say that anything is great. So it takes a lot of sleuthing. You almost have to be a detective to find out what's hype and what's the real deal.
That is kind of true, and like I said, I mean the DLC. Look, not all DLC are bad, and all DLC are good. We all know that. My point with bringing up Evolve was the DLC pack. If you did everything, came up to about $260.
God damn!
I'm not paying that much money. I'm not paying that much money on top of the damn $60 game. I'm sorry. Now, most of that is skins, which, again, I never buy no damn skins, but still, that's just ridiculous. So that's why I brought that up as a thing, because nobody, you look at, all these sites cut the whole, like, positive or pros and negative or cons, and when you watch it, it doesn't fall into that gap space. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So that kind of stuff is where I'm talking about when the hype's going there. People's talking about it. I see people enjoying the game. So again, it's not that you can't enjoy the game, but it's nothing. It's just a shell of itself. The way I've seen those guys enjoy the game, even them get bored of the game quickly. So that's just weird. So I'll King of Punch, can you hear us now? Maybe not. We can jump in. So I'll put this. So let's go to our next. I'll switch to our next game. I'll let SK Master. The next game that hype goes with and had a little controversy. Most of these games I'm gonna bring up right now is controversial and hype, but again, it doesn't reflect what the game is all about. And this one got panned a little bit for what it is. So the next game I'm bringing up is Order 1886.
Oh my God.
SK Master, I'll let you go first.
Oh man.
Wait, before you go, let me see. I'll clear it up again. I'll say this again. If you enjoy the game, you enjoy the game, and we're looking at things objectively right now. But when I say a game now, anything that you guys want to bring up about it, you could bring it up. I want to hear your thoughts. That's all my things. So if I say a name, I'll call your name. Whatever thoughts you have with the game, good, bad, whatever. Go ahead. Give me one more second. Can try again? Cause we're not hearing you. Might need to drop out and drop back in, cause yeah, I'm not hearing you talk or nothing, bro. But anyway, I like SK Master. Okay, order 186. Try go. You go.
Alright, well, first off, that just proved, question, did that game sell a lot?
No.
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, because that just proved that you can't give people 2 hours of gameplay and expect them to sit down and watch everything else. You know what I mean?
No, that's not correct. I sat down and played that game the day after it came out with my friend. It was a 5-hour game.
You guys,
Hey, well, guess what? It was a 5-hour game with 2 hours of gameplay and 3 hours of watching.
Oh my
Right?
God!
Listen, man. I got the game. I tried it out. My brother lent me the game. I tried it out for about maybe 25 minutes. And I took it out of my system. I just gave it back to him. I told him, man, this is not my type of game, man. I mean, to be honest with you, man, I'm just sitting down there and there's so much screen cuts and stuff, and I'm like, man, every now and then they give me a chance to do something, and I just right off the bat I just took it back out. I said, man, hey, I got other stuff to play, man. You could just take that back. You know, I think he had rented it, or he got it, he borrowed it from someone. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But not even him had the game after I gave it back to him. So, you know, give people proper games. If you say that you're creating a game, give us a game. I mean, don't create a movie and say it's a game. That's all I got to say about it.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. All right, I'll leave you at that. King Party, can you hear us now?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know what was going on. All right.
Okay, we can hear you now. Okay. Let me. I want to get you caught up. First of all, the first question I asked everybody here was, what you think of hype versus the reality when these games get hyped up and then reality comes out, it always drops flat. That was the first question. And then second question, and then after that you could go into Order 1886, whatever you think about Order 1886.
Well, when it comes to the hype, I mean, I don't really get hyped like I used to when I was younger, just because I'm just, used to seeing stuff. I mean, I need to play it mostly to get that real experience, that real feel of hype. But, I mean, like, I remember watching people get hype over, Watch Dogs. I actually like Watch Dogs. I hope they make another one, which I'm pretty sure knowing Ubisoft they will. But when I saw the graphics, because people forget, the first time they showed Watch Dogs was at a PS3 event, and it looked how it looked then. You know what I'm saying? It looked amazing. Like, and they were saying it was on PS3, and I'm like, there's no way this could be on PS3, looking like this. It's like this game is not going to look this way. I already knew that from the get-go. Yeah, it's wrong. They misled people, but see, I already knew I was being misled, so it didn't bother me. So
Okay.
when I got the game, I just played it and I enjoyed what I played. So
Really? You weren't like mad that they were trying to bullshit you? Like, these people think I'm stupid.
this is how I look at it. Because I mean, gaming and just advertising for so long. I mean, every advertisement, not every advertisement, but most advertisements are lies anyway. When I was a kid, I used to think Panda Bears drunk Coca-Cola.
No, I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from, and I guess like you're feeling like you're immune to it. But for me, when I hear when I see someone deliberately get in my face and tell me a bald-faced lie, like I feel like Michael Corleone at the end of The Godfather. I'm like, look, there's only one thing that really upsets me. It's when you insult my intelligence. You insult my intelligence, you have just. Like, I don't like that, and that's a strike. Like, I'd rather someone be real and just say, look, the game is clearly, it's not going to look this good. Like, I'd rather have them pull a Nintendo and say, this is the demo, it looks like shit, but by the end, it's going to look a lot better. Like, I'd rather have that than someone say, look how great it looks. Of course, it's running on a workstation PC that's like $1,500, and most consumers will never have anything that looks this good, but hey... Look how great this looks.
I mean, I'll jump in a little bit and say, yeah, I understand what you're saying there too. I mean, me and Grim's on the same page. I don't get hype out at games again, as I said before, but it is that when I saw that, I was like, something ain't right with this. And then the thing is about it is kind of like who you said, Red Fox. Just tell me it's a CGI or tell me it's on a PC. Just tell me that. And I'll pass it back to you, King. The next thing too, hey, gaming media sites, would you stop freaking comparing PC to consoles and done with this shit, please? Xbox to PlayStation, okay, but PC, come on, man, that's not a fair comparison when it comes to graphics.
No, it isn't.
Why do we do that? There's no way.
I'll tell you what it'll be fair. If Microsoft makes another console and Sony makes another console, which Sony will probably make another console. I don't know about Microsoft. If they make consoles that are basically mini PCs where you can literally upgrade them, like they'll sell cards you can put in to make them more powerful, then I'll be like, okay, I can understand you comparing this to PC. But you can technically hack a PC, and I mean the original term of hacking where you built something from scrap parts to make it better. You hack a PC to make it more powerful and to make it more efficient and to make it, do things that it couldn't do. Now, you can't do that with a console. I mean, you can, but you void your warranty, and if it doesn't work, you just SOL. You just gotta buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's honest, and that's, I mean, for me, that's kind of stuff I don't like. That's again a false advertisement, even to try to say certain things, because there's so many options you could do to a graphics card that you can't do to a console, because console is just locked. So that's why I don't like that comparison. But with that said, okay, Kingdom's established that. What about Order 1886? What do you think about the controversy around it? I mean, like I said, basically what it is, I'm gonna say a game and I'm calling a person that games that didn't really live to that hype, and I just want your honest opinion what you think about the game itself. So Order 1886, King.
Well, I haven't played the Order, but knowing people that played it, watching people play it, everything that we know about it, even if you haven't played it and you just follow the game industry, you should know something about it. It lived up to, I didn't have hype for it, but it lived up to my expectations because, no offense, I'm just not an idiot, so when I saw the Order, and when I first saw the Order and it was just the little trailer and they were shooting monsters or some shit, it looked interesting, but I didn't really think nothing of it. And then as time went on, every press release, even what's the dude with the glasses on IGN that like Sony, like those two guys, even
Cole,
they were
Cole and Mariani.
Yeah, even they were complaining, saying like almost every event we go to, and we want to see the Order, it's the same demo we played before. So that already was a red flag.
I have a question. This is Mr. The Vita is going to totally destroy the 30S. Mr.
Yep.
Mariani.
I don't listen to a word he says.
So he was saying, they were saying like, we keep seeing the same tech demo over and over and over, and every time I would see gameplay, the Sony fans were like, oh, because the game looks so good, you can't tell the difference between gameplay and cutscene. I'm like, nah, it's a cutscene. The visuals may be equivalent as in the cutscenes as they are in the gameplay, but no, they're obviously not doing anything. They're sitting there talking, and that's why I see most. I'm not even seeing the game being played. So when it came out that the game was short, that kind of seemed obvious visually how the game looked and how corridory. I don't know if that's a word or not, but how it appeared. I'm like, they spent so much money. That game is very visually impressive, and they spent their time and money on the. I can't even say the story because most people say the way the story is told is in a stupid way and it's set up for another game. So they spent their money on the graphics, and that's just where it went to. And that's what you got. You got basically a tech demo. Now, if the Order was a launch game, it probably would have been the best game ever because it'd been like a tech demo. But
well, I mean, Knack was a tech demo, and that's not even the best game ever. So I mean,
but I understand like I said, it is all the money went towards the graphics. That's no ifs ands about that. And if it was at launch, like Grim was saying, you could give because a lot of games you could give a pass on certain because of the beginning. But like I said, we all digress. So, Cage Anime, you back now?
Yeah.
Okay, what about the Order 1886? What do you think about it?
Alright. Well, first of all, it's a movie and not a game. And second of all, my biggest issue with that game is they had the nerve to charge $60 for a game that's only like 5-6 hours long. And I don't understand, like, people was overhyping this game. Oh, man, graphics. I'm like, yeah, the graphics look nice, but it's like, is that really the game Hall has it going for, aside from being, like Grim was saying, a tech demo?
Okay, that was short and sweet. That. Let me see. Anderson, I'll ask you next, and then I'll move to the next game. I'm just gonna pick and choose certain people and so we can keep the podcast moving. So, Anderson, what about you? What do you think about Order 86?
Well delivered on the graphical front. That much is certain. But everything else, you know. Because I've seen the Order 1886 on YouTube. Can't say it was a good movie either.
Well, look, let me put this. As long as you aren't saying that the Order 1880 it's racist to not like the Order 1886, you're fine.
My God. Oh my God, that is crazy. That is crazy. All right. What about you, Triple M? What do you think about it?
Now, I know back when I know that we were really bashing on the game some time ago when it was just released, and yes, me included. But I actually give it more thought, and I wish that I actually brought this game up in Public 2's case cast, because he was kind of asking the question of what is determined value for such game. And I actually wanted to bring the Order 1886 on that. It's just that now, before I did say that the developers actually they were focusing on one thing, and I said that it was kind of like for the wrong reasons, because I came out and said that for the price that they were asking for the Order 1886, I was like, maybe that could be right. It is $60 for that game, but the price on that value for that game was basically just on the graphics alone, and yeah, and I'm the kind of person that see, okay, if a game is going to be full price, it'd have to have
content.
One bloody hell huge content in that, and yeah, I would give that game a pass. And when King Krimpachi spoke about how IGN went to play the demo of that game, and basically complained that they were just playing the same demos since the first time they played it all the way it came out after release. I was kind of actually surprised that the person above all else, Colin Moriarty, but actually called it the way he saw it, although in a very mild way. But I really thought at that point I was like, okay, maybe these guys are actually having an eye opener to see what the heck is going on. But since they didn't, and only did it for that one game, I digress and I move on.
Okay. All right. Well, the next game that had controversies, and one of them that I have a call out, I'll pass it up to Kanosh first. The next game that has problems that I see that, again, a great game, people talk about it, and for the people who are on PC has some problems, but Batman Arkham Knight. So
I don't understand why they shipped the game that way. Like, both Nvidia and WB should be ashamed, because if Nvidia was part of that, like they sped up the video to make it look like it was running at 60 FPS. So there was some dirty stuff going on with that game, and the fact that they re-released it and it's still somewhat broken, doesn't make sense to me.
No, point taken.
And the Batmobile just doesn't. And the Batmobile also seems useless in that game. Like I don't really know why. It seems like it's by some of the stuff I've been hearing. It seems like it's forced.
Well,
The Batmobile.
yeah, yeah, the Batmobile. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. I'll pass. What about you two? What about Arkham Knight?
Well, I actually purchased the game, and I mean, after about a week playing it, I just brought it back because
Wow.
I tried to like it, and I was a big fan of Batman, Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, and this game, to me, what Kanoshi was saying, the Batmobile did feel like it was forced into the game. It didn't feel like it was something necessary, but if they just push it onto you. Just the flow of the game itself. I mean, they were hyping it up to be like this was going to be the best Batman game yet. But in my personal opinion, it was a letdown, and so I just got rid of it instead and went back to playing Arkham City on my 360. But I also wanted to mention what was it, Triple M?
I just wanted to ask a question to YouTuber. Comparison-wise, do you feel that Batman Arkham Origins is better than that Arkham Knight?
I heard about what I heard about the Situational Origins. It wasn't being worked on by Rocksteady, so I just avoided the game. So I avoided all the controversy surrounding that. I only played Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. So to me, those were my two favorite Batman games, and so those are the ones that I was bringing over like my expectations over to the Batman Arkham Knight game. But if I may, I also wanted to say something about the Order 1886.
Go ahead.
And what happened to Radio Dawn Studios. Because Radio Dawn Studios wasn't particularly a bad developer. They were the developers behind the God of War games that were on the PSP and also Daxter for the PSP as well. Yeah. They were actually pretty decent developers, but I think what happened with Radio Dawn is that they got caught. I think the hype really killed them. Like when they were working on Order 1886 on the PS4, I think that they were a victim of their own hype. This was like their first real big AAA game, and the thing is, if it wasn't marketed as a AAA game and something maybe something as like a small side game, I don't think it would have suffered the way that it did in terms of like how the gamers perceived it. But the Order 1886, it tried to be this big budget game where it really couldn't measure up in aspects of especially the gameplay department. So. It's just sad because I'm hearing rumors that Radio Dawn is now self-publishing, so they probably got dropped by Sony and their CEO got replaced by somebody else in the company. So hype can be a good thing, but the hype could also backfire, especially if you don't deliver.
True. Okay, that is good right there. All right, King Rupachi, what do you think about Batman Arkham Knights and any controversies, whatever around it?
Well, I got it on PC, so I never really played it. So, I think it's real fucked up. How I ended up on PC. From what I did get to play of it, which is just the very, very, very beginning. I barely got to do anything really.
So they teased you basically. It was a hot chick, and she just gave you a peek, and then walked out the door.
Basically, I played the demo. They said it's still not fixed, but they said some people can get it working and it's random. So I may one day download it to see if it works for me. But one thing like I could say that I found really stupid about the game is like I was solving puzzles with the Batmobile, and it does feel forced because I had to remember the Batmobile is like it's like a tank ish. And it has almost like a jet engine on the back. So this thing is pretty heavy, right? Yeah. Now, I like how they say Batman is using like non-lethal missiles. Yeah, okay.
If Batman has non-lethal missiles, we need to get some of that shit for the American military so we can just like subdue terrorists and our enemies without killing anybody.
I'm pretty sure you can make a missile that something that's considered a missile, a projectile that's launched. and it doesn't blow up, and
Yeah,
it
you
may
can.
crush your bones or something, but like almost like a potato gun or something. I don't know, but
No,
when you
there are ballistic there are missiles that can do that. That basically use like the compression of Earth, like when it hits the ground, just shockwave and stuff like that. And you got EMP blast missiles as well too. Would do that.
yeah, but when you shoot a missile at a car, even if it's not if non-lethal or not, when the car blows up, people die normally. That's what happens. But the thing I did find stupid was I did this mission where I had to drive the Batmobile is like a tank. I had to drive
Off
it
a wall.
not off a wall, but on the top of a roof of a building. Then I had to go up a wall. But this building I was on had a glass ceiling. This got to be the most powerful. Now the glass was cracking, but it didn't never break. So I'm like, this has to be the strongest glass ever made.
That could be plexiglass.
No, you know what? You know what would have made sense for that game if they had not gone with that shitty Batmobile they did in that game. If they had gone with the Burton Mobile, because the Burton Mobile was badass, but that tank mobile they got now, I'm like, I don't even. I mean, Batman's supposed to be stealthy. What does he need with a tank? A tank's not stealthy.
Can I also say this, that I feel like the game should have maybe focused more on trying to see if they can implement like a co-op feature, like a Batman and a sidekick exploring the city. That would have been a lot more interesting than the Batmobile that they put in the game.
Oh, sure. back to Batman Origins with the multiplayer thing. Although this time it has to be better implemented.
I don't know about the multiplayer.
I think you're talking about those sections where Batman and one of his team members, unite to fight one of his enemies in a boss. Instead of being co-op mode, you just switch between the two.
Exactly, like something like Arkham City, but you have like you have a friend jump in, you kicking ass together. That would have been a lot more compelling to me than what we got. But that's all I want to say about it.
Yes, there was a Batman game that actually had co-op before Batman Arkham ever existed.
Lego Batman.
It wasn't Lego Batman. It was actually the
one on Super Nintendo. That's the one I know is co-op.
Like the beat 'em ups. Yeah.
The beat 'em ups, but I don't remember nothing 3D.
No, the beat 'em up, Batman Returns, the beat 'em up on the SNES didn't have 2-player co-op. It was a really good game though. It had Batman walking through the city beating the shit out of everybody. It was great. They did the Batmobile better than a current gen console. That is sad. That's embarrassing.
Now this one I'm talking about came out back in the 6th gen, I believe, and it was based on the animated Batman series from the 90s.
Oh yes, that's what I think about Batman animated. Yeah.
Batman Vengeance or something.
No, not Vengeance.
Like the return of Sin Tzu or something like that. I know what you're talking about.
But it was also Batman and Robin too. That was they took it right from the anime. The art style and everything was from the Batman animated series. I know he's talking about.
That was like the best Batman.
Well, back in those days, the Batman. The first Batman I played was the Sunsoft one back on the NES.
Yeah, that was good.
Because you were basically Ninja Gaiden with a Batman. That's what it was. That's basically what it was. They took Ninja Gaiden and turned it into Batman, and he crawled up the walls and doing all those crazy stuff as well. But
that was fun.
No, it was fun. No, the reason I'm saying Batman because like I said, I played Origins. I'm not gonna even deny it. I played Origins. I just wanted to see because I like to see what the story will come out to it, what it is. I waited to play Origins, and so I didn't get it at the beginning. But then after see what Origins is, just like King said, I'm still waiting. I'm not downloading Batman yet. Give shout outs to Gordon, who or Highlander Gamer. He's like he bought it and no problems meant for him. That's good for you enjoy the game, bro. But I've seen my friend got glitch. He downloaded the game from Steam and he's still getting game breaking bugs in the game. I'm like, okay, no. I'll wait.
Speaking about that some people can actually play the game with no problems and others can't, and it's only on the PC version. So I'm kind of having a notion that maybe Rocksteady at the time they were building that game to run only on PCs on the highest setting, and for some reason, they basically butchered plans about
What do you
um,
mean? Well, basically, I mean the port team ran it. Rocksteady really did not. They did advise whatever, but I forgot what the team that ported it to the PlayStation to the PC, and they did a bad job. That's for sure.
Yeah, I gotta disagree with people saying that it was, well, you know, it was so and so and this other guy. What I think happened, and from what I've heard, like from various sources, is that basically Rocksteady made the main build of that game for the consoles, and then they took the code. They took the code and they gave it to like a third-tier porting studio, like I want to say like 2-3 months before it was supposed to come out, and like not only did they do that, I mean, you can't. I don't care if you gave it to a AAA studio. Let me put it this way: I think Nintendo is some of the best first-party developers in the industry. If you gave that shit to Tokyo EAD for 3 months before the shit came out, they couldn't get that shit running. That's the type of stuff they did, and they gave it to a third-tier studio to port, and they're like, "Oh, we can't believe it doesn't work." But all I'm gonna say is this: this is Warner Brothers. It published this game.
Oh yeah.
That Warner Brothers. The same Warner Brothers that helped crash the industry in the 80s when they owned Atari, okay, and put out Pac-Man and all that stuff, okay? Warner Brothers has a terrible history of, you know, supporting their games. So I don't know why people are like, oh, it changed. They've had 20 years of bad service. What? The only games they do well, that they publish well, are the Lego games. That is it. Those are the only ones that come out and they're not like busted.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll jump to our next game, and I'll let this person start off since I know for sure I like the way that you did your video, which is King Apache. I'll be jumping a little bit. I'm gonna jump back to our next game that was also has a little controversial. I want to reveal something in there, but I like that you said. I mean, you kept it real in your video about Fallout. You enjoy the game, but you don't think it's in your video you say it's not Game of the Year material. So, I mean, you bought the game because that's one of the franchises that you like, King. Was it? But do you think that because you bought the game knowing that it's Bethesda and it's gonna be bugs in there? It's not as much bugs as Fallout 3. We know that, but it still has bugs and frame rate issues. And some of the stuff you pointed out as well too. So what do you think about Fallout 4?
When it comes to performance, actually, I haven't ran into that many bugs, like actual bugs. Really, I haven't even noticed really any clipping. Honestly, I'm not saying it doesn't happen because I've seen too much footage to know that it does. But I'm just saying in my playthrough, like it's not like how it was before in Fallout 3 in New Vegas, where if you went to certain sections, it didn't matter what copy of the game you had or what system you had it on. Well, sometimes it did, but like basically. Let's say there was a glitch in the PS3 version. It wasn't a random. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it don't. It happens. Period. You know. So the bugs and glitches and what you'll see, because the only one I've seen is for some reason I was inside of a building that it doesn't load to get inside. You just go inside of it, and when I'm about to walk out the door, the stuff I see outside disappears. But as soon as I go all the way out the door, then it comes back real quick. So I didn't, that don't bother me. You know, it's bound to happen eventually. But that was the first glitch, and that was after 30 hours that I remember a glitch. So that's not that bad. But my big issue, especially when it comes to the PC people, since I've been gaming on PC, the PC guys like put themselves at this high standard. Like they don't buy bullshit, and for the most part, they don't. You know, they don't buy stuff that's fucked up. And they won't support stuff that's fucked up. But Bethesda is one of the many few that gets an exception to the rule. You know, they're a little bit different. See, the PC guys will be quick to say, well, their games are always messed up, so, whatever. But that's the thing. There's a lot of developers on PC and on consoles that make messed up games all the time, but you'll never. Like, Ubisoft always makes messed up games.
Would you go to a restaurant, and say, oh, well, their burgers are always half done, so that's whatever. I can just go home and warm it up.
Oven.
I mean, it's weird.
That's Bethesda.
It's weird because it's a little different. See, like with me, like using the food analogy again, like I've been to restaurants like what is it if you live in the South, I don't know if it's called something different somewhere else, but Waffle House, right? It's
Yeah.
big food.
Oh God.
Waffle House normally has horrible customer service, and normally Waffle House is dirty too. But for some reason, Waffle House food is delicious.
There's a lot of fights there too.
It's a lot of and their food, but their food is normally delicious. So, I don't play with my food. If my food got some flaws in it, then I'll never go back. But I can deal with, coming in the Waffle House and, the tables haven't been cleaned because the waitress is on her phone or something. If it's been there for a long
You're saying that Bethesda is a Waffle House. That
No.
The customer service sucks.
The difference is, the difference is if Bethesda games just had bugs, then there'll be a Waffle House because, like I said, that I can tolerate that. What I can't tolerate is like let's use a different analogy, right?
Okay.
I do not like Chili's, the Chili's restaurants, because every time I went to Chili's, the food is awful, and one time I went there, I got food poisoning. So I don't like Chili's. See, I can't tolerate horrible food at a restaurant. I could tolerate bad customer service every now and again. I could tolerate the waitress being an idiot. I can't tolerate my food being messed up. So I can't tolerate when a game has been worked on for 3 years and my, it's a big open world game, but when the frame rate, and the frame rate is so messed up, there's no consistency to it being messed up. Like, there are certain areas in certain games that are big where if you go in this area, it will have frame rate dips because it's a very demanding area. Fine. That's not how Fallout works. Fallout will randomly dip for no reason at all.
And Duo, how busted is Xenoblade Chronicles X?
Oh, come on. You have to bring that up.
I'm going to ask this. Wait, before we go there. But I mean, okay, so King. So basically, let me ask this analogy to what you just said, King. So even if a restaurant or whatever, so it doesn't bother you, and I'm not calling you out or nothing because it might comes off as that, but because like I said, what you just did right there, talking about how with the Waffle House is kind of funny too. But so as long as nobody touches you, and you go in there and you get the food and the food's good, you all right.
As long as what don't touch me?
As long as the patrons don't mess with you. Like, like you see movies and stuff, like you ever seen movies, those sometimes comedy movies or whatever, like Police Academy or whatever, people just walk in and they're like, they're walking in, no, it's a bad place, but the food's worth it. So they're like, okay,
it's kind of like that. You go in the Waffle House and there's people normally, depending on where you go. Well, really it doesn't, because even in Waffle Houses in, like, you would say in the more wealthier parts of wherever you live, the Waffle House is the same. Like, no matter what, Waffle Houses for some reason have this reputation for the waitresses have an attitude, or the waiter, the cook, gets mad when he gets your order wrong. So then he gets mad, he gotta redo it. It's like a epidemic of Waffle House attitude or something going on. So you can't do nothing about that. So, but I said, I would rather it not be there. But what I'm saying is I can tolerate it. I can deal with it.
Going to what you're saying with the game, like I said, you said it in your video very well. That's why I purposely up front when I asked the question that you're still having fun with the game. You're still enjoying your experience with the game.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying my experience. Like, I just played one of the best missions. I put up a video of part of it, but I won't spoil it. But basically, you get to play as while you're playing through Fallout 4, you're going to be introduced to a character. It's not, they don't blatantly just tell you about this character, but you'll find out who he is or whatever, and you get to be him. And I like that mission because but the character is like a superhero, so you get to be a superhero in the game for these missions. So I'm not done with the quest, so I don't know where it's going to take me, but I found a flaw in that quest. It really wasn't a bug, but it was just Bethesda needs to patch that quest because it's a part where you have to save a person. And the way it works is like the guy has a gun to the guy that you need to save the back of the guy's head. And he shoots him so quick, even VATS, which is supposed to be slow motion, he's too fast. So you have to, like, if you see my video, you see me playing it multiple times over and over and over, reloading, because you have to basically take drugs to slow time down even more. You got to move extra quick. You got to hope this motherfucker dies. It's so lucky. You got to be so lucky to kill him and save the guy. And although I'm enjoying the quest, but it's little stuff like that. I was enjoying the whole quest. I get to that one part, I'm trying to save the dude, and you keep resetting it for so long, you get get a little annoyed. Like the quest ain't stop being fun anymore. But the game is good. The game is good.
So you seem like a big fan of this game. Maybe you can explain to me why the heck those facial animation, those character models, those faces look so bad.
See that stuff doesn't bother me. It's just like when people complain about Xenoblade, the characters looking. That doesn't bother me. I mean, when I don't remember seeing the faces in when they first showed Xenoblade, but for some reason when I see the original trailer they showed, for some reason it looks better to me than what it looks like now. But that's just me. But the facial,
it did. I'm not gonna. I agree with you. It did because again, I got the game, so yes.
Yeah, it seemed to look better. Not in every area, but in certain areas it looked better. But the facial animations and stuff like you got to understand too. I'm on PC, and I play games that don't work. Facial animations is the last thing I'm worried about when I put my money down in the game. I'm wondering, does it work?
Yeah, I'm just
yeah, that's
I'm just messing.
Which it is kind of sad that I have to wonder if it's going to work, but that's the reality I live in. I like the PC, I like gaming on it, but my game working is priority number one. Facial animations, honestly, because if you go watch the video I just put up, I'm gonna be honest with you. The way my character talks, because like I said, you were playing a superhero, you can make him talk like a superhero, and he's saying stuff in a superhero type voice, and you expect his facial animation to reflect that. It never does. That happens a lot, and you just get used to the fact that it's not going to happen. They're not going to show like really good emotions in the facial. So.
Okay. Red Fox, what about you? I know you pick up Fallout 4. What about?
Yeah, I haven't been playing for 30 hours, but I have been playing Bethesda games for a long time. Their games are just broken at launch. The only reason I got this game was because the girlfriend knows I like Fallout, and she was like, "Yeah, I know you said you weren't going to spend the money and give it to Bethesda, but I'll do it because I know you like the game." I've been playing it, and I have to agree with Grimpachi. This is not Game of the Year. The game, someone asked why the facial animations look like garbage, because this game is built on the bones of Skyrim. Skyrim's faces look like garbage. And the sad thing is that I know in about 6 to 7, 8, 9 months, maybe next year, you're going to see the modding community, like the people who are passionate about these types of games, are going to fix it for Bethesda, and Bethesda's going to get all the accolades when really, you get a Skyrim or a Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, especially Fallout 3 and Skyrim. Like, it's the modding community that fixes these games, it's sad when people who are just really passionate about stuff have to fix your damn game because you are in a rush to get it out before the end of the year. That's sad, and people give them a pass on it, which is worse. Fallout 4 is decent. Graphically, it looks kind of like an upgrade of an engine upgrade for Skyrim. If you could run Skyrim at very high or ultra high settings, you'll have no problem running this game. It's not graphically demanding because clearly the majority of Bethesda sales are going to be on console anyway. But yeah, it's not Game of the Year. It's decent. I'm gonna reserve judgment on calling it anything better than decent because I don't know what the DLC is gonna be, like where they're gonna take it. It's an interesting world, but I don't know.
Okay. Anybody else got the game that could talk about it other than, because I have one question to Red Fox and King, but anybody else got the game that want to say anything about it?
I don't have the game, but it kind of boggles my mind that at least this game is nominated. How does that work? You know what? I digress.
Yeah, digress from that because you ain't gonna.
Well, I'll tell you this. Dragon Age, which I still haven't picked up yet.
Got Game of the Year.
It got nominated and it got Game of the Year by a lot of people, but that game was broken too. Now it was a little bit different because the reviewers for Fallout 4 because Bethesda is known for making dropping games fucked up, and it's almost like a cute thing in the industry. It's like, oh, Bethesda's known for making broken games. Like I can't tell you how many people got mad at me and said, "Oh, Grim, you play a lot of Bethesda's games. You should have known it was gonna be broken." I said, I did know, but at the same time, see, I came in with an expectation. I came in like this. I said, all right, I know how Bethesda is. I know they drop games with bugs and glitches. I never experienced. I guess this is what the PS3 owners were experiencing back in the day, because I played Fallout 3 New Vegas on 360 first. I never experienced turning a corner in my game freezing, and then it not freeze. And you know, I never experienced. I never had those issues. I never had those in them extreme. I've had it where my character, like my companions, would fly from the sky and drop down on the ground. Like I've had stuff like that just randomly happen, and you know that is annoying. But nothing compared to like you go into an area and there's nothing there and your frames are dropping. But then you go into an area, open area. You're shooting like 20 guys. It's a battleship in the sky. You blow it up, it crashes, and the game never freezes. Never stops. I go into a building with nobody inside. It's freezing. That doesn't make any sense.
Let me put it this way. I've had all of that. All of the I played because I just have a thing. I'm not gonna buy a Microsoft console ever. I got the PS3 and I got all of the Bethesda games on the PS3. Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, and New Vegas. Actually, believe it or not, the best experience I had was on New Vegas, but I got that well on down the line. I got the Game of the Year edition. I got the Game of the Year edition for Fallout 3 and Skyrim and Oblivion. And the one thing I noticed with all those games is that, like, it got to the point in Skyrim where, like, it would start chugging and slowing down, and I'd enter a building, and I would pray that it wouldn't crash, and I'd lose all my save data. Same thing with Fallout 3. It was like literally, and here's the worst thing: these bastards at Bethesda are friggin' arrogant. They're like, I'm like, you put this shit out, and you've got like you make great games. Get out of my face, you know. And I mean, because no one else could do that. Like, if you went to a restaurant, using the restaurant analogy, and someone gave a product that consistently gave people food poisoning. Like, you went home and you were either puking or it's coming out the other end. And then you go to the restaurant, it's like, how could you do this? And they're not apologizing or we're sorry, we'll fix the problem. They're like, well, you know, we're doing the best. Too. Yeah, I don't know, you know, do whatever you got to do, you know. and that's the thing that bothers me about Bethesda is that, like, everyone's like, well, they're so great. No, they aren't. They're decent.
And the thing that blows my mind, like I said, is like when people, like, especially people that know me, know that I like and enjoy Fallout, and they go crazy because I'm talking about something that's actually happening. The game is. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, some people say, "Oh, Grim, your rig isn't powerful enough," and I'm like, yeah, according to the game, it says I can run it at ultra. What are you talking about? Like, people's hardware. You know, when it comes to this game, because I'm gonna review it whenever I get to beat, when I'm ever getting around to beating it. Like, I've been playing it like a lot, so it should be soon. I'll beat the story and then I'll review it. But hardware, irrelevant. The game is jacked up, and the fact that people are so you know, such hardcore fans. I'm not even gonna say fans. They're just so crazy about the game. You can't talk about this issue. It's an issue.
I have a question for both of you. Compared to other Bethesda games, is this par to is this more broken than most Bethesda games, or is this about the same?
It's not as broken. To be honest, it's not as broken as Skyrim was, or Fallout 3, or New Vegas apparently. But like I said, I got New Vegas Game of the Year edition once all the patches are in, so. It's not quite as bad. The only thing I can tell you is this. The only people who actually talk shit about, well, why are you playing it and you know it's broken, who claim they're fans of Fallout, they were fans of Fallout when it came on the Xbox 360 and you know, it was on consoles. I'm a real fan of Fallout. I was playing Fallout when it was made by Interplay, okay? Like the original people that made Fallout. So, and it wasn't broken like that when they were making it. So all I'm gonna say about it is this: Bethesda, they make broken games. This game isn't quite as broken as previous games. I mean, it's not like, oh my God, if I enter this building, it's gonna crash broken. Like I said, if you can run Skyrim without any frame rate dips and just play it, you can run this game easy. It's not like because I mean I can run Skyrim ultra high settings no problem, and I can run this game like very high settings no problem. So I mean it just you know.
I didn't want to say this, but I was like, nah, F it, because this might come out kind of racist, but what the heck. I have a feeling if it's a developer company that was stationed outside of the States and makes the very same game as broken as how Bethesda games are making them, I have a feeling those companies are going to be dogged on.
Well, I think it is an East versus West thing, a little bit. I'm pretty sure if Nintendo came out with a game that was as broken as Bethesda stuff, that'd be the end of that company. They'd get burned.
I don't know about that one because didn't Mortal Kombat, the new one came out, like that game came out fucked up.
Yep. But
I think they're in the West. So I mean.
Yeah, but that's Warner Brothers. I mean, look here's the thing. Okay, you can't look Warner Brothers. Legacy of shit. That's what they should call Warner Brothers. Legacy of shitty games. That's what it is.
Okay, before we go digressing down this rabbit hole, this question is basically for you guys before I move to the next game. I want to ask this question for Red and King Apache. All right, how is because again, I don't play the game, not games Fallout, but I have a comparison which Kenoshi brought up, but again, it's just because I want to know. I want to know the answer. How's the loading screens in Fallout 4? I'll let King go first since he's further along in the game.
What do you mean the loading screen? You mean what they look like, or you talking about how long it takes?
Does they have loading screens? Okay, like other than let me put it this way. How's the progression? First of all, how is the progression of the game is? So do you if you go into a building and loading screens? Do you go to certain place you have loading screens, and does it go? And also, does it take long? Yes, that's
okay.
Kind of the questions.
Well, basically, if you go into certain buildings, because there are buildings that have normally it doesn't have a door to it, or sometimes it will. But if you go to a door and it just says open door, then when you open that door, it's not going to load anything. Or if it's loading so quickly you'll never notice it. Because I've been in elevators where what they'll do is it's a little trick. You go inside of an elevator. It's a unique trick because if you're not paying attention, you won't notice it's loading. If you go inside of a building, right? And it names the building. Like if the door says you're going inside of the hospital, it's going to load you into the hospital. But if it just says open door, then it's just going to open the door and you can go inside. Now, when you're inside of a building, you may go into an elevator and it may require loading, it may not. If you go inside the elevator and you press the button and the lights are on in the elevator and it just takes you up and you don't, then it probably didn't load. But sometimes what they'll do, and it's so quick, when the elevator is dark and you go inside, there's no light in there, you go up, it's like this quick glimpse of black, of nothing. It's so quick you won't notice it. And then you will see your character in kind of a dark elevator, then it open the door because it just loaded. It loads so quick you'll never notice it. So I mean, when it comes to loading, the loading isn't bad.
You gotta be quick. You gotta be careful when you say that because you can't say it loads so quick you'll never notice when you notice it. But I keep.
I'm noticing it, but I'm saying like the average. It's people I know that don't notice when they're playing, 60 frames per second games. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I notice it, but somebody else may just think, oh, well, the elevator's dark and it's still dark in here. No, there's a split second where it goes completely black.
Okay. Okay, what about before I pass to you, Red Fox? So, okay, this would be a true honest comparison. So, when you're outside in the world itself, though, and you can go through everything to a degree, because again, I know chapters will be blocked off to load. That's just common sense of how games are. But is it seamless outside? I'm just asking that question again
Oh,
before I say
when
what I
you're
said.
outside and you want to go from one area to the other, and you're not entering a door or a city. I mean, other than like what stuff, depending on the draw distance you have, the distance, which if you have it high, then you won't notice the game kind of popping stuff in. But there's no loading. Like if you go from one area of the map to the other, it doesn't have to load to get you over there. You just walk there and it'll be there.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Red Fox?
Basically, when it comes to loading, if you played Skyrim, it's like the loading screens, like how you press the buttons while you're like how you can rotate the models between loading screens, how it loads really quickly. They took the elevator trick is neat because when they're loading an area with the elevator, like even with the lights, like you'll open an elevator and then you have to press the button to close the doors and then it goes up. It's like, this is only going up one floor. It's taking a little bit. That's because they're loading the next area a little bit. But it's still it's integrated so well into the game that you don't really notice it most of the time. The draw distance is a thing, but it's still not that big of a deal.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, you can tell that this game was built off of the bones of the Skyrim engine. So, like, if you want to know how this game plays, like, in terms of, like, its hardware capabilities and stuff like that, it's basically like Skyrim with guns.
Okay, now the reason I say that because like Kanoshi brought up, like I said, I do have Xenoblade, and they are the load they basically once you go outside, the transitions are seamless because you can walk through a build. Even if you get your mech, you can walk through the gate. You could hover over the. They don't cap you on the height, and you could just fly over the walls and straight into a battle, which is pretty cool. That's something that kind of puzzles me in a way that how they did it. But again, it's like, okay, I get what your point, how they made the transition smoothly. Now the reason I'm gonna say, you know what, I'll lead us to the end, to the more further part at the end of this, because I want to point out something with third parties and everything that everybody else get wrong with everything else. But with that said, I'm gonna digress to a next topic, which is now Batman Arkham.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Yeah.
That's the reason I brought that up is because I know a lot of the excuses people are making for Skyrim and probably making for Fallout 4 is that, well, the game's so big that they don't really have time to catch all the bugs. And I'm not saying there's
time.
I'm not saying there's no bugs in Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm just saying that it doesn't. I'm sure at least Xenoblade Chronicles doesn't have the same issues like say Skyrim, where you're going in the doors and praying that your save data doesn't get corrupted.
I'll agree with you, Kanoshi, but I won't say Xenoblade Chronicles X because I haven't played it, and I'm not like Enduo Liger who played it. I'll say this much: Xenoblade Chronicles is a large open world on par with that. And I never had a character just like, if I open this house, if I go into this house, my game's going to crash. I didn't have that problem. I don't understand how I think they're smaller. I think Monolith Soft is smaller than Bethesda, but apparently they probably a lower budget than they are too, and they could give me a game that wasn't broken. I don't understand that.
Now, basically, they're part of Nintendo, so they got the money now. So they got the money. But
I'm sure they have the money. I'm saying they probably weren't spending what Bethesda spent on this game to make the Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii.
It was their biggest. Monolith Soft itself was their biggest budget ever, but not compared to to compare it, if you want to compare it to Bethesda or any Western developer, no. Because Nintendo makes sure that if they're gonna budget the game, they budget the game to sell. That's just how they do it.
So if they're giving me a complete product with a smaller budget and I guess a smaller team, I think, that's not broken. Like I can go into a building and like, oh god, I hope it doesn't crash. and yet these people with all this money can still broken game and pray that the modding community, that the people who are playing it, fix it. I get a little bit frustrated with, and then people are giving these people, it's Game of the Year. We're nominating it for Game of the Year.
Okay.
And what's worse in my eyes is that we're talking two games. One is on a closed system. The other is basically on an open source system.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll get to that point. I want to make my point. Leave that topic for when to the end of the, close to the end of the podcast. 'Cause I got a point about that. So you going to say something, King?
Oh, I mean, we're gonna talk about Xenoblade later. I just asked you later.
Okay. So the next, you brought it up right there. As we see, other than the DLCs, we have a lot of more lock content and stuff like that. Some is good, some is bad. Again, I gotta see what's going on with I gotta figure out how the content got locked in the first place, and because I used to work for EA and Ubisoft and everything, and I see how they do it. Maybe I have a different view of most people to see behind the scenes where people talk stuff. Let's just put it that way. So the next game I want to talk about is we had, as King brought up, we had Mortal Kombat. We had Mortal Kombat 10, and then we had Need for Speed, and there are two Need for Speed games this year. One that was mobile, one that's on the consoles. So since I heard from you a while, I'll let somebody Tuber, I'll let you take care of that one. Mortal Kombat or Need for Speed, any one of them you want to tackle? They also have their own controversies. So what do you think about those games?
Well, as far as Need for Speed goes, I haven't really followed the series since Underground back in the day, and I'm not really into the Mortal Kombat series, so there's not much that I can really contribute.
Add to it. Okay, that's cool. Kenoshi, what about you? Anything you could add to those two games that before? Because if anybody can, I know Grim and I know Red Fox could add some, but I'm trying to give everybody else equal time to speak. But what about you, Kenoshi?
Well, the only thing I can really add, because again I'm not a huge fan of the series, is that one of the dirty things that they did with that game was lock a key franchise character, the forearm,
Goro.
Yeah, Goro, behind a paywall, and that just seems, I don't know, it just seems rough for people who are into that game. Like, I understand maybe a new character, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a minor character, but a major character, a character that a lot of people like, I don't understand why you would lock him behind a paywall.
All right. What about you, Anderson Archella? Oh, sorry. Do you get anything else to add? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Anderson Archella? What about you? What about any of those two games that you think that's called the hype? Everybody hyped those games up, and again, one of the reviewers also missed a couple things in there, which I think should be pointed out, but they never pointed out. So, what about you, Anderson?
Well, can't really say much for Need for Speed. All I know is that some people were hyped for it, hoping it didn't have any of EA's usual bull, but then they got disappointed. But MKX, I guess I could give a little bit, since most of my acquaintances here in LA, are obsessed with it, despite me trying to point out some things with it. Namely, Mortal Kombat is, an established franchise. It's been going on for, 20 years, 30 years. So, the fan base will, follow it no matter what, even if it locks certain beloved characters behind a paywall.
Okay. All right. What about you, SK? Anything about Mortal Kombat or Need for Speed? Because one of the things with Need for Speed, I think you ain't brought up, but you kind of experienced it already this year. Already, you kind of didn't like it.
Yeah, well, my problem with Mortal Kombat, I didn't really have much of an issue with it. I have the game. I didn't really have much of an issue with it. As far as Need for Speed, man, these always online stuff that they're doing with these games, man, they're turning me off of these games. I mean, real bad. I mean,
I thought you brought that up.
I didn't get this one for I had no interest in the one for this year, but the one that they brought out with the launch of the consoles, I had some issues with it. First of all, like I'm in career mode, and I'm playing the game trying to get somewhere in the game, and the police officers are guys that is online, regular people, and they've been playing the game so long, they know all the shortcuts and everything. So I'm trying to get away from the cops, and I just can't get nowhere because I keep getting busted. And I'm not the type of person that play game 24/7. So I mean, if I get 2 hours to play the game, I just want to play at my own pace. And when you give me a game like that is always online, I'm connecting with people all the time, and I don't know how to play just play against the computer at my own pace. That get me so frustrated, man. I trade in the game. I usually don't trade in games, man, but I had to trade it in because I was like, man, I'm not getting anywhere with this game, and it was just frustrating me. So this new one, I mean, it looked good, but I'm not I don't get too hype over graphics and stuff. But when I read the always online stuff, I was like, nah, man, I ain't playing this because I can't play another game like that again. And that goes for any game that is just always online all the time, and there's nothing else I can do but playing against people. That is not something that I really into. I mean, maybe other people are, but yeah, that Need for Speed, man. I can't get into these new ones, man. And it sucks because the older ones, like even the one that they released on the Wii U, I love that one. But the style that they're going with now, these always online stuff, man, they're killing these games.
Okay.
I have the same same thought with SK, and even though I haven't experienced the game because just for the whole online thing that totally put me off. That one of the few franchise that I actually adored from EA, that alone butchered it for me. And with his experience about as cops, that most of the times they play at that game and already have so much experience, I knew for a fact that is going to be some experience for a lot of people who can't who's going to have difficulty playing that game, because that's basically a bloody roadblock.
Okay. Hey, King and Red Fox, anything you guys want to add to one of those two games, or any of them at all?
It's sad they did that with. Mortal Kombat. You're right. Mortal Kombat is an old established franchise, and that they would lock like a franchise character behind a paywall like that is not cool. But once again, I've said this before. It's Warner Brothers. That's what they do.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Also forgot. Now there's a reason why a lot of us, at least in this podcast, who are not going batshit crazy, excuse the expression, of games that doesn't have online, because we might have not called out on this, but we expect that something like this is going to happen.
Okay. What about you, King? Anything you want to add to it, or any of those two games?
Not really. The only thing I could say is that I wish Need for Speed wasn't always online, because I'd probably pick it up. But
okay,
just nothing really.
All right. Well, my thing. Okay, so let me jump to this. My thing with Need for Speed is, like, SK Master brought up. That's why I let him took it away, because of the always online. Also, too, this goes into another game which you could talk about it, which was Metal Gear 5, with some of the DLC and some of the practices and everything too. But I'm not Need for Speed. The game that just came out, always online. That's something that has the same problem too. That if you lose connection, your game's messing up, and you messes up other people's games when you're playing.
Basically unplayable.
Hey, Liger.
Yeah.
Hey, not to cut you off, man, but it's not even just that game. I mean, you saw the picture I put up of NBA 2K.
Yeah.
I was playing career mode, and I couldn't connect to their server. It was not on my end. It was on their end, and I can't continue my story. And I mean, those type of stuff, man, those are so frustrating because I had to wait maybe a half an hour, just keep trying to connect, and then finally he got on. Mm-hmm. And like I said, man, like for someone like me that work, I work for a company, and then I got my own stuff going on the side. When I get a little chance to sit down and play game, and I want to be able to just put in my game and just go. That's why, especially a game that is a single player game, I don't see why servers and stuff should be an issue to where it's preventing me from playing career mode. I can understand the playing online, but just a regular career mode, that is so crazy, man.
That's bullocks.
Well, also me and basically me and Triple M talked about this with SDF1 but he's not here. Is with the mobile game that I had with Need for Speed 2. When you gotta pay DLC to you gotta pay real life money to get gas. In the game. Yeah, I'm sorry. If I'm gonna spend money on gas, it's for my car, not for the damn video game. That is just ridiculous.
Like, can I ask this? Since the very first time I actually heard about that, I was like, screw EA with Need for Speed. That series, that franchise is dead to me. But after a certain time, I kind of thought about it and wanted to ask you this: does that mobile game actually give you option to buy gasoline with in-game credits, so you don't need to use real money?
What it has is a time lock on it. Kind of like how Pokemon Shuffle has a time lock that will give you 5 more hours after 24 hours, whatever. But if you want to continue the game, you pay the money for the gas. That's what he did. So that's how they did that.
And that's some bullshit.
Well, that's what we got you to bust some balls, but I mean, and it goes to the next game that gonna because of it's the ending game, and everybody knows about. I want to talk about is basically Konami's last game in the free, which is Metal Gear 5.
Kojima-sama.
I did kind of you talk about the face animation, King. Look at it. I remember you had a video talking about the face animation on Metal Gear 5. I remember that video you were talking about how you couldn't get it looking a certain way.
What, Metal Gear?
Yeah, you had a video about it where you talking about this guy's face doesn't look nothing like. I'm trying to remember, and it was you.
I know what you're talking about. It wasn't the facial animations. It was about basically the consistency of the story and how. Basically, in the game, you can play as different people, right? You can play as the people you capture, and what kind of breaks you out of the immersion is, let's say you pick a soldier to play as, and you go back to Mother Base, they'll still call you boss, but you're not Snake.
Now I remember your video.
So it's like it's just kind of stupid.
Like, this makes no sense.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this too, King. You did not. I know like I said, I know for sure you didn't do this, but what about what's your thoughts on the whole insurance buying base? But you could use your DLC, which is paid for DLC, to do the insurance for the camp or whatever it is. Dang it, I forgot what it is. But you know what I'm talking about.
Bases?
The bases, yes. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're talking about on Metal? Well, when I was playing it and I beat the entire game, I got like 60-some hours into it or something. That's how long it took me to beat it, because that story is but basically, I didn't run into a time where I had to buy a base with my money. They give you one for free now, but I do see how it would be flawed, because basically there's these things called FOB bases, where basically are online bases. And you have to buy them with real cash. Once you buy them with real cash, then you can just upgrade them like you would a normal base with the in-game resources. But the problem is that the online base, like basically when you build up different sections of your base, that different section, let's say the combat section, if you spend money to upgrade that, and this is in-game money, you can have more people in that base. When you have more people, then you can have stronger people. You know, you'll have more S-ranked soldiers. When you get a FOB online base, that adds to that total number. So technically, it does affect your single player and also multiplayer experience. But I just haven't ran into a time where I had to buy another base. Now, if I want more people, because there's only so many times you can upgrade the base without buying another one, then if you want to upgrade basically to the max capability, you're going to have to buy those bases.
What are the prices?
The prices, because you got to go inside the game to see them. They were high. I can tell you that. Like, they were around like what the price of the damn game or something like that. But, like,
I think we can all say this collectively. Konami, slap yourself. Slap yourself hard.
The thing that's weird about Metal Gear is that it has a lot of mobile style influences, which is strange because Metal Gear is set up in a way that you would think that Konami at one point was going to charge you for a lot of shit, and then they just said, you know what, we're not going to do that, because the way the game works, let's say you want to build a gun in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You use in-game resources to buy the gun. It takes time to buy it. I mean, to build the gun, your research development team. Now, yes, you can get better research soldiers, and then it will take less time, but it's very minute. So, sometimes you'll build a weapon, and it's instant. It'll instantly be delivered to you. Sometimes you build a gun, you build a base, it takes an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. In a mobile game, they'll more than likely say, hey, you can pay, and then it'll be faster or be instant. They don't charge you. You just have to wait. It's very odd. You can't pay. See, at first I thought you could pay to speed it up. You just gotta wait. And I don't understand the point of it. Because the only point I could think is that, like I said, they were going to charge you, and then they took it out and said, you know what, we can't do that shit, or they were trying to add some realism to it because realistically, if you wanted a group of people to build a gun for you or a weapon, it does take time to build, but it's kind of just odd. Like it's like playing Pokemon and going to the what you call that thing, the place to heal your Pokemon, and let's say they say it takes 2 hours to heal one of your Pokemon, and they don't you can't purchase anything to speed it. They just want you to wait for no reason why, but they just want you to. Very weird.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry. You got you put out a demo a year or two ago, and on top of that, you got all of this in Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm sorry, Konami. No, this how you should be called. It's fuckami. Use the expression, but fuckami.
Basically, Jim Sterling and fuck Konami.
Yes.
Okay, so here's one now that everybody here can answer this one right now. This one is one of the heated topics of the year, and so we had, and I'm happy to have you in here, Grim, to talk about this because we had basically a dichotomy of craziness and not craziness, which is the voice chat between Splatoon and Battlefield. And Battlefront. I'm sorry, Battlefront. That's coming out right now. Now, a lot of people had. My thing still is this. The reason I brought I'm bringing these two games up, and I want to hear people's opinions on this one, which I'm gonna ask everybody here, is because, all right, Nintendo told you everything up front. That's gonna be with Splatoon. You had a choice to buy it or not, or you could wait until August where they get most of the maps. It was released with sparse maps and changing it, and again, Splatoon has its own problems, so not even deny that. But everybody's biggest gripe was it didn't have a voice chat. Now, Battlefront, which was a game which everybody know by now, is pushed because of the graphics. That's basically what it is, because it's missing a lot of things from the game that was 10 years ago. It's not, and it's really is going to cap on of course, the Star Wars Awakening movies coming out. That's what's going to make this game sell for EA and make EA a bunch of money. But it has a season pass, the DLC, and all that stuff, but no voice chat. Now the console has party chat, so that's what they're falling back on, which is most people who were saying something about Splatoon said, "Oh well, they should have it in the game," but then, okay, why don't you say it for Battlefront? Well, Battlefront has because the PlayStation and Xbox has the party chat thing. Well, you have Google Plus, Hangouts, and Skype and everything else. Why don't you use a second tier like the others? But no, whatever. But that's the dichotomy of That's the dichotomy of what's going on with those two games. As people was very vocal in our side of the community and said stuff for one game, but then in the other side we laxed off and we didn't keep with it. So you know what? I have not P. If you can mute yourself, can you hear me?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. What about those two games? Do you have anything to say about those two games?
I recently got a Wii U, therefore I haven't played Splatoon. Therefore, I don't really have much to say on it right now.
Not ready to play. I'm talking about the controversies. I think you've seen the controversy between what everybody was saying. It needs voice chat. It needs this and that. But then again, you go to Battlefield. I have not heard the same people, same characters, same people saying, "Hey, you don't have this needs voice chat too."
I think a majority of it has to do with fanboyism. A majority of people, whatever fault they can find with Nintendo, they're gonna stick with it and focus on it, and they'll pretty much just ignore and in some instances forget about what their favorite companies are doing.
Short, precise, as usual.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Tuber? I think you got something. You can say something on this one.
Well, I mean, it's just seeing all that transpire. I mean, what else can really be said? It's a double standard in this gaming community. I mean, you have people just ragging on Splatoon for not having the feature, but then you have people that was complaining about Splatoon not having voice chat. They're holding the box of the Battlefront. You know, they're showing that they actually own the game and they bought the game and there's no problem. So it's just another issue of a double standard, and whenever there's a problem, hashtag blame Tendo.
Okay. I'll let that be what it be. Kanoshi, what about you?
I mean, it's pretty easy. It's just another one of those double standards. EA can get away with it because a lot of things. I mean, they got the Golden Poo Award for at least 2 years in a row, but for some reason, Star Wars Battlefront gets away with it, and I just don't get it. Like, this community is so inconsistent with where they put their rage at. Like, 1 minute they'll be angry at, say, Ito, and then the next minute they'll do the exact same thing, and nothing will be said. And this community is so inconsistent. I don't maybe somebody here or maybe someday I'll understand, but right now no.
I got you. Look, the stuff that's going on with EA, look, and I'll point this out here before I ask anything else. It's like, last year EA made $900 million with DLC. I know for sure they're gonna top that this year now with Battlefront being what it is with already the season pass thing. So I ain't gonna even worry about that with straight DLCs. But what about SK? What about you? Anything about that controversy, or you basically fall in line with everybody so far with the whole double standard thing?
I fall in line with everybody. But I must say one thing to Kenoshi.
Yeah.
They're consistent, man. When they come around bashing Nintendo or anything to do with Nintendo, I mean, it's a consistency. So, I mean, listen, I'll show you how bad it is, right? I could hear about a game. I could hear them talking about a game. don't know who published the game, and I'll already figure out by just based off of what certain people are saying that it's a Nintendo game. So they're consistent there. What they're inconsistent about is third-party game, because if it's something that they like, and I think hey Grim, I think I gave you a little bit of respect for the video you did, because when it comes around popular games, everybody goes quiet. Even those Nintendo fans that you know, bashes Nintendo for all kind of little bit of, you know, baby little stuff. When big games come out, even those go quiet. You know, so I mean, it's consistent about bashing Nintendo, but inconsistent about everything else.
I think if I were to make a mock-up of like a Wii U and like Nintendo being the developers of this game, I think people would be angry about it then. Slap Nintendo on and then people would be angry about it. They'll actually be mad about it, but since Nintendo's name isn't on it, we're not going to be mad.
Man, all you gotta say is that you love Nintendo, man, and people will be mad with you.
You guys got all this thinking, man. Well, you know, I'll pass the mic on since you call your name. Grim, what about you? I mean, you know for sure about it. Like, you made 2 videos about the response with the voice chat for Splatoon and the voice chat with Battlefront.
I suggested people to boycott Splatoon. I take full credit for that. Period. That was I. I also you know, suggested people boycott Battlefront. You know, voice chat is voice chat. If you want it and it's serious to the point where it's like, I ain't buying the game, then do what you do. Don't buy it. You know, don't support it. For me, you know, I think it should be there. I think it should be in any game, that especially games that have multiplayer. It should definitely be there. You know, and relying on party chat and stuff, I think that's just an excuse, because, like I said, not everybody wants to be in party chat, and it's different. You know, when you're in party chat, you cannot talk to everybody in the game. Period. You can't
talk to randoms.
You can't talk to randoms either. The only way you can talk to randoms is if you get in a match, then try to figure out everybody's names, like press the button to see the people on your list. You can't even invite all those people into one party chat. So it's still flawed. Like, if they say they want to rely on that. That's one of the things I don't like about PC, but that's why I like you know, that's why I enjoy talking in game, because when you're playing Counter-Strike or whatever and you need to communicate with everybody, you don't just need to communicate with your boys on Skype, because it's a team effort or you're going to lose. That's one of those games you need to work together or you're going to lose the match. So you got to communicate. That's why most people say get off of Skype, get off of TeamSpeak when you're playing Counter-Strike, because we need to be able to communicate with everybody. But I mean, if you don't want to support it, don't support it. That's what I suggest. If you want to, then, you know, get it. You know, that's all I can really say.
Okay. I guess I'll answer after what Grim said. Basically, it's called the Nintendo double standard. When Nintendo does something, it's evil and bad. Like Nintendo busted in your house and peed in your cereal. Like basically, it was your Saturday morning. You had the weekend off. You were like, if you live with your girl, she's like going out shopping all day and she's not gonna take you with her, and you're just gonna veg out and watch your favorite stuff and eat a big bowl of cereal, and you found your favorite cereal, the milk was perfect, and you were just about to take a bite and Nintendo busted in your house, peed in your cereal. That's how they feel when Nintendo does something that they don't like. And then when EA does the same thing, they're like, oh, that's okay. It's all right. There's no problem. It's no biggie. Essentially, and here's the funny thing, because I noticed it, and Grim brought some attention to it. Literally, EA said the same thing Nintendo said. They were like, look, listen, if you really want to do voice chat, there's all types of secondary, methods that you can talk to your friends. You can use the online voice chat. You can use Ventrilo if you're on PC. There's all these different ways you can do it. And yet, I didn't hear the "oh my God, let's boycott this game." I mean, from a lot, I didn't see people saying "fuck EA." I didn't see anyone making videos about how they weren't gonna buy it and they were gonna buy it used. I mean, where is the outrage?
Yeah, I don't understand
I mean,
because people will get pissed off about EA, and then they won't get pissed off about Battlefront. I think this has to do more with Battlefront than it does have to do with getting pissed off at EA. People don't want to believe that their childhood is being pissed on. They don't want to believe it. They just.
Well, I'll be frank with you. I'm not even mad about the game not having voice chat because, like I said, I don't really care about voice chat. What bothers me is that I recently re-downloaded what was it called? Battlefront 2 off of Good Old Games, and a game from a decade ago has more content than a game that came out now. That's what makes me mad. I'm like, you people couldn't even give us a full game.
Hey, Double M.
Hey, what's up?
Well, that is one of the things that I played out for that reason. But I understand why people have their own way of doing things. So,
what's on the agenda tonight? Fill me in.
Well, basically, we just talking about what hype does to reality, and the game we just basically brought up two games of how people were doing the boycott or whatever for Splatoon. They heard all the videos, heard everything, but Battlefront don't have the voice chat, and nobody's making it. The same people are not making the same videos or nothing at all.
Yeah, just give me some time to settle all of this in, and then I'll start roasting in a bit.
You ain't gonna start roasting nothing, man. It is a weird thing.
Oh no! You invited me to this podcast. You should expect some roasting to be going on.
I know, but it is what it is. So, but
I mean, a lot of gamers do a lot of hypocritical things. The one thing I don't like, I was told by one of my my Sony brethren, he this guy, he called himself Lord Pony. He said, Grim, he said it's amazing, He said you're one of the few people I know that isn't a hypocrite. And I said it was so strange because I'm just like, well, because when I speak, I don't just talk. I know what I'm saying. So what I do is I consciously know that I said something. So I wouldn't go, and what I said I believed in. So why would I go back unless my opinion or thought has been altered because some new information has been given to me to change it? And I would explain that. I just wouldn't, like, some people feel differently, but they don't express that. That 1 minute they one way, the other minute they're the other way, but they don't tell you why. It's just, they done flip the script. That's why they're marked as hypocritical, being hypocrites. But one thing that is like Battlefront and Splatoon are very similar, but the only thing with that is this: the people behind the game, not the people who make it, the people who purchase it. People who purchase EA games are normally the casual market, and it's also people that just accept EA's bullshit and fuckery, right?
They basically accept EA's dick up their ass.
But this is the difference, though, right? And I'm gonna put this out here. Comparing Battlefront to Splatoon, the thing I did not understand at all, and I still do not, is that from the Nintendo fans that I know of, what they did with Splatoon, like now, Nintendo fans normally hide behind, it's free DLC. But I was told that they do not like, not everybody has said this, but some people say they do not like when they have to buy, when a game comes out for $60 and it's not done. Period. It's not about if it's free later, you pay for it later. If it's not done, it's not done. They're not going to buy it. But that game gets a pass. Then I brought it up, but I know why.
I'll answer you to what you just said. And here's my answer to it. The answer to it, what you just said right there, is it doesn't get a pass. To some gamers, some Nintendo fans, they do. I'm not going to speak for all Nintendo fans. Hell, that would be stupid of me to say that. Look, when Battlefront got announced, he had pre-order DLC. He had pre-order bonus and DLC in the trailer, in the announcement trailer itself. It had that. Now, Splatoon, again, they told you up front. Again, you have it like that. They told you that you could buy the game right now or you could wait. You have to pay for the pre. You have to pay for the pre-order bonus. You have the pre-order bonus you're gonna get. Then you have to do the season pass thing. Now we had the only difference I will point out to you in that regard, Grim, is like the credit what Red Fox brought up. We had an established game from that franchise, and stuff there's nothing comparable to that game to what it was 10 years ago. Splatoon is a new IP. This is something that have done. Now, I was with you. I was 100% behind what you said when you talk about the whole boycott thing. I said, hey, if you don't want to buy the game, wait until August. If you think August is not enough, then don't buy the game at all. If you think the voice chat or the DLC practices was messed up, you don't have to buy the game. Nobody's forcing you, because I don't follow this whole. I'm not one. I think most people here, we don't follow this trend crap. You want to buy it? You don't buy.
You're not a sheep. I don't think anyone here is a sheep. I think, like, Grim, I understand where you're coming from, but I think the reason I'm going to tell you, and I know, like, in your argument, in your logical argument, it's very well constructed. You're thinking, well, you're implying that these people are kind of being hypocrites because, of what they've done. But here's what you have to realize, and I'm just saying objectively, take a step back. Objectively, like, this is like Splatoon is a new IP. It's essentially you've never done it before. It's like going up to the first people who made the first cheese. It's never been done before. It's literally like it's your first attempt at it. So if it's not perfect, it's your first real attempt at it. It's it's not. There's no established template for it yet. I know for a fact because I remember I got Battlefront on the PS2 like years ago. And then, like, my copy got scratched or something, and I had to do something with it. And I recently downloaded, like, Battlefront 2, the whole thing on Good Old Games for my PC. And I was looking at the amount of content that game had, and then I looked at the amount of content that this game had, and I was like, this game is... They literally have given us less content in this game. Less content, less modes... less, like, the flight sequences are on rails, like, the single player is garbage. I mean, it's just, I think you're comparing apples to oranges. Yeah, they're both fruits, but, I mean, they're two completely different types of fruits. They're,
I'll explain why I brought it up, right?
Before you get into Grim, I'll say also one thing as well too. Not to cut you off, but before you go there too, there are fans out there who are more hypocritical than what any of us could say there, because we know people who talk the crap about this game and say whatever. Because I know some of the aspects is because they're Nintendo fans who are fanboys who will give Nintendo a pass on many things. They are that. I'm not gonna deny that. But there are also people out there who also bash the game, say they're gonna do it. Of course, we've seen them bought the game, play the game, which is why don't you stand up for your stance? You were gonna say we're not gonna buy the game.
Of course, but like I said, well, I didn't say this, but I'm a strong believer in I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. If you don't believe in it, that's fine. But you know how they say, a sin is a sin, and you can't measure them. You're doing something fucked up. You're doing something fucked up. One thing is not higher than the other. That's how I look at it. So when it comes to like the people that said they didn't want to buy it and fuck the game and fuck Nintendo and then they bought it anyway, yeah, they're hypocrites. But what I'm saying is like I can give you an example of a game and it's on Nintendo's hardware where the game at launch was a full title and they gave you free DLC, Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter 3 and 4 gave you number free DLC. You only had to pay for it, but the game was a complete product at launch. My thing is Nintendo gamers, not all of them, but the ones I know of, they express they don't like games that are not complete, and they don't think it's worth paying the full amount of money for a game that is not finished. Now, before the game was put out, there was information, and there were even some Nintendo gamers in their channel saying, "Look, this doesn't seem like a full title. And even people that after they purchased it who felt it was a full title based upon the information, they said, nah, this really ain't enough content to warrant the full price, you know. But they excuse it. They excused it. So that's what I'm getting on. Like the people who are being the obvious hypocrites, they get, people can see that, but some people don't see the other people saying, oh, I don't buy games that aren't complete, but you bought Splatoon and you even say it's not completed. These people that's doing it.
My problem is that, and my biggest problem is that, I don't like when these companies make incomplete games and then chop off part of the game and then sell it back to you for a premium. Like, I don't mind, okay, they really wanted to finish the game on schedule. And then they give you a whole bunch of free DLC, to make up for it. I didn't get Splatoon until August, until a lot of that content was there. So it doesn't really bother me as long as the content is free, as long as it's not, oh, well, here's your introductory price of $60, but if you want the full experience, we're gonna have to pay you like a monthly or annual fee of $30, to complete the game.
I mean, I could see where Grimm's coming from to it, but even what you just said, Kenoshi, is like he's trying to say that, okay, because again, I don't know. You know what? I can see it, but I want to.
Let me make a point on this one, and it's just my opinion.
All right.
But I do get 100% where Grimm is coming from. I do actually agree with him quite a bit. My reason, like I said, these are my reasons for getting Splatoon was because, well, for one, Nintendo gave us a heads up on what the case was. And two, even though the game wasn't complete, it wasn't broken. Like, what worked, what was there in the game worked. So, and if developers, in all honesty, thinking about it, if developers took that approach with games where they weren't finished, they weren't completely finished, but, what they had done worked. And what they had done worked. It wasn't broken or anything, and they were going to go through the process of delivering content further down the line, then I'd be more willing to support other third-party games as well. For me, it's not so much the fact that the game is missing content at launch. For me, it's the fact that the game is actually working. If they say they're going to bring out the content, then I don't mind waiting for the content. And I would, if every company had the attitude, where they were going to bring out the content further down the line, and it was going to be free, then I wouldn't really have an issue with a game being rushed, providing it's not broken.
Okay.
I mean, with me, it's just it's complicated because when I hear people say they don't want to pay full price for a game that's not giving me full price content, like some people say they don't want to buy the order because the order doesn't give you to them $60 worth of content, which that's fine, that's how they feel.
That's just their opinion as well. I mean, if someone thinks that the Order 1886 gives them $60 worth of content and they buy the game and they enjoy it regardless of how short it is, then they're not in no wrong.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there are people that have expressed themselves in this community, especially from the Nintendo fan base side, that they do not purchase games. You gotta understand, this is everything they said. They do not purchase games that are not complete.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. The reason I said that response is that I'm basically saying that in any circumstance, whether a person thought the game was of value or not, that's their personal business and they choose what they want. I don't think people should try and determine to others what the value of a game is. That's for the individual who is spending their money. So I agree with you there.
I'm not determining or trying to put that out there that I'm saying that they cannot or can or cannot do whatever they want to do. Is their money, they can do whatever they want to do. But it's just
you're talking about what they said.
It's not even about what they said. It's not even like they just casually say it. It's like when you make a whole video dedicated to this to this rhetoric. And you say it in such a passionate way, I'm going to take it as
you feel strongly about this topic, but then when you go
Exactly.
against it, it's like,
Exactly.
well, why did you go against it? Because some people go against some of the things they said, but it's because it's a reason has popped up, and the
Well,
only real reason that most people don't even give a reason, and the only reason I can think of, no offense to these people, is that it's because it's Nintendo. That's
Well,
there's
I
nothing
mean,
wrong with that.
I'm gonna be frank with you, Grim. I'm one of those people that I got Splatoon at launch, because I mean it looked fun. I mean I did it for the reasons that I think most people should buy games. The shit looked fun. I'd never seen anything like it, and the concept of it was intriguing to me. A shooter that isn't blood and guts. You have these weird-looking kids going around, basically paintballing each other, and I was like, "Wow, I'm gonna get it." Yes, was the content a little light? The single player was a little light, but I mean, I was having so much fun playing it that it's like only after the fact are you like, "Oh, this single player is a little light," and the multiplayer, I guess in hindsight's a little light, but then it's like, I mean. Those because of the nature of how that game is played, like even with the small amount of maps that they had at the beginning of the game, it's not like, well, I'm tired of these damn maps, because they rotate maps, and each map is so different that it's like it doesn't really get repetitive even if you're playing on the same map for a long time. So for me, the extra content that came along, it's like, wow, look at all this extra crap. I was happy with what I had, but then it's like someone hands you a plate, and they're like, here's a plate of steak fries and a nice juicy burger. And it's like, wow, that's nice, and a milkshake. And then they come back with some extra stuff you didn't even order and ask for. They're like, no, this is complimentary on the house. There you go. So it's like, here's all this extra crap. So it's like all this bonus stuff you didn't ask for. I think there are some Nintendo fans who were like that. In terms of the people who said, well, we want complete games, and this game isn't complete.
I mean, my answer. Let me put it this way. From going, let's go from forward. Look. Any game you bought, technically speaking, from since 2000 last year, from last year to now, from the Nintendo side, is not complete because the amiibos lack stuff.
Yeah.
And if you ain't got amiibos, you ain't got a complete game. Now, to add to something else as well too is that, like Batman Origins, when it came out, I bought it. I didn't care for the DLC. What I mean by that is like, I wanted just to get the game experience, and the DLC didn't intrigue me enough. And I'm happy looking back. I was like, yeah, it really wasn't worth not a damn thing. So I understand what, like I say, to point out like what Grim's saying, and basically Double M brought it up when he talked about that, that the whole the new experience and everything, things like that. It's just like this game, Splatoon, had its first. This is its first going. If this happens for the second one, and I think again, Nintendo fans gonna take up the war cry, the ones who think this was hypocrisy and everything, and go against that. I compare it a little different in the way, like how I did it before. Red Fox said the same thing too with Battlefront, that they subtract stuff out, and then I didn't know what Splatoon was going to add to things. And for me, even if the DLC's messed, even if you got DLC, I mean, everybody wants to know the content and how it sells. Nintendo fans does give a lot of Nintendo a little pass on certain things. I'm not even going to deny that because again, one of the things I would buy the Cloud Strife and all that, the map packs with the character with the maps. I have no problem buying those because I know from the developer side how much work goes into those things. I ain't never gonna, but I am 100% consistent, and I would never buy no damn skins for no company. Never, ever, because those things does not take time to develop. And I would.
No, it's just data.
I don't care how Nintendo. I don't care if it's Nintendo. I don't care if it's nothing. I don't care. It could be my mama who made those damn skins. I ain't buying.
You're not buying it. I will say one thing though. Just one little quick thing. The amiibos are, I guess, kind of a paywall to content. But here's the thing. no game that has amiibo content, if you don't have the amiibos, you're not really missing anything. Like, I don't have the Splatoon amiibos. Not really. You know, I've seen people use them. I mean, it's a nice outfit. The equipment they unlock is nice.
Well, it's a challenge too.
You don't need it.
A challenge to get you're playing a challenge to get the outfits.
Yeah, but all that content, it's not like you're missing anything if you don't have it. It's not like there's vital, important stuff that you're not getting from the game that you're missing if you don't have it. And I will give Nintendo credit for that. They've done with the amiibos. They're not thus far. I mean, that's I have to give them credit for that because a lot of other companies they'll have core DLC, and it's like really this should have been in the damn game. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like majorly important stuff like EA with that Prothean DLC they had for Mass Effect 3. Those bastards. That was some foul stuff they did.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, no game. Like I said, from then on, in even Nintendo games. But to be 100%, there's no game that's gonna come from Nintendo that's not because also in my video I'm trying to put up, people was talking about they don't like these Zelda fans. Somebody Cage is not here. Talking about they're angry that Zelda Wii U is gonna use amiibos. I'm like. They said every mainline game they made in E3 2014 that they're gonna use amiibos. Why are you shocked they're using amiibos for Zelda Wii U now?
Look, we don't even need to listen to what they said. They sold 21 million amiibos. They can't keep them off the shelves. They're outselling Disney Infinity and Skylanders. If you don't think they aren't putting amiibos in their games, you have an extra hole in your head. That's all I got to say.
But even before they were selling it, Red, like we said, they said it. They said they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So
not even that. From a business, I see where Red Prox is coming from. From a business standpoint, when you look at it, you can't blame Nintendo for wanting to put exclusive amiibo content in games because if they see that these amiibos are selling like wildfire, they're gonna do everything to try and push them.
Oh, that's business. Yeah, that's business. That's business. So I understand that. But also with the passion of the game, like I said, to the person who made that comment, they said it not once, not twice, not three, many times before the amiibos took off. They said what the amiibos gonna do, and it's gonna be a part of every mainline game. They didn't say it's gonna be about some game. It's gonna be about every mainline game. So Star Fox is gonna have it. Zelda's gonna have it. Any other thing they're gonna put out is gonna have it. So I don't know why they're shocked. I mean, even the smaller games like Kirby's Karma's Curse or Toad, those are small $30 budget games. Yeah, those small budget games have amiibo supports by Nintendo. It's just what it is. So, let's just move to our next topic. But I think everybody expressed what they had to express. The next topic quickly here would basically be now that we have. Grim, you played Halo 5? Okay, I know you had a video about it. Did you play it?
No, I didn't play Halo 5.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay, I know you cracked the joke with the choice, the Morse chestnut thing. So I thought you had it.
No, I don't got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, you have it. Okay. Now, this is where again with reality with hype hits reality, and I'll let SK you answer this question now. Now, I played Halo through the years. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of it. Because it's a good game. I'm happy that it became a franchise and synonymous with Microsoft. That's good. My thing is what I'm saying now is that you have so many different all these trailers that came out. So Master Chief has gone rogue and Locke is doing this certain thing or whatever. And then the campaign is nowhere close to any Halo that has been in before.
Excuse me, guys, but I'm gonna bounce. So I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Take care, Kenosha.
You have nothing. You have not unlocked to what's before, and then they have the consistencies in reviews once again that IGN. If you read through the whole IGN's review, that of course they never put in a negative at the bottom, but. I mean, you read through the whole thing, it's just not consistent at all. But it sold, it did great. Do you warrant that?
It's Halo.
Halo 5.
Of course it's going to sell great. It's Halo.
Yeah, I know it's sell good. I'm just but I'm gonna get to a point about because I saw a lot of the also Nintendo fans who are fence jumpers who got to the other side started to put up this post, but if you dig deep, the post is crap. But anyway, what do you think about with the false advertisement and everything, SK? How that worked out?
Yeah. I would say it was false advertisement, yes, because from based off of what I was seeing on TV commercials, I thought that the two of them was Locke and Master Chief was gonna be basically like going for one another head, but it turned out not to be that. Chief was going after. He was basically what is the name of the AI that he normally interact with? Yeah, Cortana. It was basically she went down rugged, and he was basically like going after her to get some answers or whatever, and Locke was trying to track him down basically to get answers too. And basically that's all it was. There wasn't really going back and forth with each other. So I would say yes, the commercials was a lie. But I mean, all in all, I mean, I enjoyed the game. I mean, it wasn't really that long, but I enjoyed the game. And that's really all I gotta say about it. But you know how they do with certain reviews. It seems like when there's negative stuff pertaining to certain games, they would speak on it briefly, but when they actually finish with their reviews and stuff like that, they won't hit the game and remove any points for those little those stuff that they talk about. But you find other games that would knock them for just the silliest stuff. So commercials. I mean, commercials lie all the time. For the most part.
Yeah.
Reviewers, I don't really take reviews like the way for me. Yeah, well, for me personally, when I go for a review, when I look on somewhere like IGN and stuff like that for a review, right? I just basically I read what the positives and the negatives are. I read the bottom section of what they write in the post, and then I just leave it as that, and then I make my own judgment because I know somewhere in between it's just gonna be a bunch of bull crap. Versus something like, for example, like a Nintendo game. Say for example, Splatoon. You see, IGN just reviewed the game again.
Yeah.
And you see that they talk about voice chat, and apparently they had to remove points for the voice chat because they had it in the section down below as a negative for the overall rating of that game. Now I'm waiting to see a game like Battlefield and stuff like that. I'm waiting to see if they're going to do the same thing. My gut feeling is no, they're not going to do it because for some reason, when it's a Nintendo game, they review it differently than when they review other big name games. That's just that's just basically what I've been seeing. Now, so I mean, I'm not, I understand that, and I just basically, I don't really go to those sites for a Nintendo review anyway. I'll go to a Nintendo site for a Nintendo review. Well, and that's how I do it.
But here's I'll since you're the one who played, and here's the thing that Kim is like, okay, so you have the game.
Yeah.
You basically play as Locke more than Master Chief. You're not doing what the game said it was supposed to do. But again, if you put it, but if we put other games up and you're not playing as the main character, you hear a lot of people make a lot of noise about it, though. But you ain't hear nothing.
But those people, we already know those people are hypocrites. So I mean, I give every YouTube channel that I listen, that I go to and listen and subscribe to, right?
Yeah.
I give them basically, everybody is basically on a 3-strike thing with me.
Let me get this straight here. So
yeah.
A lot of these people, I know a lot of these people who complain about Federation Force have an Xbox One and they're banging out Xbox games and spending money on live and stuff.
So we know those are idiots.
We know those are idiots. I'm not saying no names, but so They made a mad ruckus about Federation Force and Samus not being the main character, but they're accepting the whole issue with Master Chief, where you mostly play as Locke.
Because those listen, well, an idiot is an idiot. You can't an idiot is an idiot. No matter what they do, they're still an idiot. So I won't be worried about those people.
Silence is golden. Silence is golden. That's all I'm saying. In the good words of Shaq, golden.
Yeah, and that's how it goes, man. I mean, like I said, I used to subscribe to people, and I just start hitting the delete because, like I said, I give them 3 strike and they're out. And guess what? A lot of them get 3 strike in one day. You know, it's just a bunch of bullcrap.
All right.
You know, I'm gonna say something. How can you tell me, right? You're gonna tell me, right? And you're gonna tell me if I basically don't agree with something that you say, then I shouldn't be associating you don't want to associate yourself with me. Well, guess what? Ain't nobody gonna ever agree with anybody. But but there's still something called mutual respect, meaning that basically, me and you could disagree on something, right? But we could still, get along and move along forward. When you start giving people ultimatum, man, listen, man, if you think that was good in your eyes or whatever, then me and you can't talk at all, and give me a flat ultimatum, man. Listen, you don't got to give me the ultimatum, man. I'll bounce. You know what I mean? I don't need to listen to your crap, because guess what? I know some people. Yeah. Well, guess what? I know some people on here is kids, but a lot of us is grown man too. And I come here for entertainment. I look for cool people. I feel out certain people, even if I don't give if they come off a little rough at first. As I said, I would be like, all right, let me give you a chance, see what you're all about, get a feel of people. You know what I mean? Before I make a final judgment on them or whatever, right? But as a community, I try to support people. If I see one video and I like that video, I'll subscribe to that person and see what that person have. If I don't like them, I could always unsubscribe later on down the line, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I do. But when you start talking these type of stuff and telling people these kind of bullcrap, man, I'm like, listen, man, you ain't got no right to be telling people these type of stuff, because number one, man, everybody come here for a little bit of entertainment, and whether we agree or disagree, or whatever floats your boat, whatever flavor you like, or whatever the case is, listen, at the end of the day, if I want to subscribe to you, if I disagree with this video and I want to hear the rest of your videos because you make good stuff from time to time, that should be my choice. But for you to tell me, oh, well, hey, if you can't agree with me and this particular stuff, man, just get off my channel, me and you can't be associated and all that crap, man, get out of here with that crap, man. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about that some of this stuff that I've seen going on around here.
I gotta get to SK. You straight to the point, so I ain't gonna use sugarcoat nothing else. The point I'm gonna bring up right here now. The point I'm gonna bring out here is
I'm sorry, like,
yeah. Come on, yeah.
About this, because when you posted that video about that YouTuber basically calling out IGN's review, and I was like, I put in the comments and said, wait a minute, I've seen this before, and it's on IGN self, and I forgot at that time. I forgot what that game is, but it is actually Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like,
but that wasn't a re-review. They didn't give it a full review until the multiplayer came out.
Yeah.
But it's not only that. It seems like it's not even just that one Grand Theft Auto game. No, it was plentiful, because they were like they were giving this game 9.5. These games 9.5 for all of that praise. But when you actually go look at that game, and I haven't played all of them, but I did play Vice City, and what I've noticed with Vice City is that um, there was some accuracy issues, like the shooting mechanics, the combat mechanics, even the driving, the maneuverability of the cars, and even though some of the sports cars that should be really really maneuverable are actually not, or floaty at best. And it seems from that point forward, the games after, it was the same bloody thing. Even with this latest Grand Theft Auto game, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, IGN, F this.
One thing I gotta say about Grand Theft Auto games, man. Those games ain't never supposed to get no tens, man, because like you said, man, those controls, man, those are some of the crappiest set of controls I ever seen in gaming, man. I mean, those characters will be like they're walking sideways and all this weird stuff, man.
Let me put it this way about GTA. GTA, those controls were acceptable when it was on the PS2 and the Xbox, the original Xbox. I almost said the Xbox One. The original Xbox. You can't, like, those controls are garbage now, and they're still getting, this game is great. I'm like, this game, God, it's okay. It's an 85. It's a B.
I got you. All right, look. Okay, so let me get what my main point of this whole thing, and then maybe you guys could say that, and then we're done with this podcast. One of the things that they posted with Halo 5 was those guys were posting up how Halo 5 made the money, which it did, but it goes under the false pretense of the money. A good amount of the chunk of the money, not less than, I think it was 30% of the money so far, has been to the DLC, because the microtransactions in that game is almost every 2 days every 2 days they average around $500,000 of microtransactions. So every 4 days they make $1 million on average. Could be higher. It was higher in the first week. You could basically make $1 million every day. So
I need to get me some deal. They keep getting
some
DLC.
The thing is that the microtransactions, their numbers were messed up because they're saying that. My thing is, like, now that you get, just like I think I asked Grim when me and him had this podcast. Now that Microsoft see that they could get, or 343 Studios could see that they could get $1 million almost every other day from one game. Let me see, Halo 6, Halo 7, Halo whatever, we're gonna keep on going. You think they're gonna take out the microtransactions? Hell no.
Yeah, but do you think at that point
money in the bank.
I just wanted to say, do you think at that point that people are gonna keep flocking towards Halo after what happened with this recent Halo game? Because
yeah, I think they would. Because my point of this whole podcast basically was this. Everybody, most mass gamers, all of us here have certain things, and like I say, if I had to tell the truth, out of anybody, me and Grim have the most unique, kind of really weird way of thinking some things. But my point was saying in this podcast is that things that was egregious a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, has become normalized. That people don't care no more, and their arguments become hypocrisy or hypocritical because they don't care. As Grim pointed out, that hey, it's Nintendo, I'm a rah boom tier for Nintendo, or if it's Halo, rah boom tier for Microsoft or PlayStation. The fanboyism has gone massive. Most people here has multiple consoles. I mean, by definition, I get you. All of us here has multiple consoles. If it's a Nintendo one, which is the 3DS or the Wii U, or you have an Xbox, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, or PC. I have PlayStation, Xbox, not Xbox. I have a Microsoft PC, a Wii U, and a 3DS. My thing though is that, like I said, everybody's following trends. And my point to break this out is like, I put up a post about Consumer Reports. Now, Consumer Reports buy their own products. They don't go for advertisement and all that stuff. They just came out and said this. Now, sadly, they didn't say that. They said about the online, but they didn't put it as a big bonus for the Xbox. They have their tech gifts of 2015. They said if you want to buy the best, when they were talking about a gaming console, they said if you want to buy the best Blu-ray player, you get the PlayStation 4. They didn't say nothing about the games. if you want to buy, and then when they say if you want to buy a gaming console for games, it says the Wii U. The Wii, because they said it has, it had the most top shelf, has the it has the most top shelf games, and if you want just to play games, you buy the Wii U. Which for me, I thought that's what we buy gaming consoles in the first place, to play games.
That's what I thought, man,
I'm sorry.
apparently that's not true. We buy consoles for features.
Wait a minute. Wait. Sorry to cut you off, both of you, but Red Fox, didn't I put up an article about that on your cast?
Yeah, but look, it's like Liger said, people buy consoles for features.
Can I just add something there? I mean, with Mr. F. Fox, you're saying that people are buying consoles for these features, but it seems to me that even though they buy these consoles for these features features are slowly being removed or even phased out. And what I'm getting at is the feature of LAN play and split screen multiplayer. And as it relates to Halo 5, it doesn't have any of those features. And that's what, to me, that kind of like breaks the whole deal, because I did like Halo back in the day, but not having a feature that was there since the inception, like, probably was like the main reason why a lot of people, got Halo, was because of the split screen multiplayer. And not to have it now, and not even LAN play at least, is it's really a deal breaker for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's why I played Halo originally, was because I would play the co-op single player with my friend, but we play split screen multiplayer. For them to take it out, that kind of has deadened me to Halo. I'm like, I don't really want to play Halo 5.
and to be perfectly honestly, to say this too, to join on what you guys said, like Double M and me and Dr. Feelgood, we had a podcast where we talk about Splatoon, because Splatoon doesn't have local multiplayer, and we got a Nintendo for that. So we're not flip flopping on that point. We called it out. We said this could have been done.
I'm sorry. Actually, it does have, but it's
just half.
We're not talking about that way. Like I said, we talked about the way they could have been done.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of half-assed, but hell, I'll take a kind of half-assed co-op multiplayer than none at all. Shit.
Well, I'm about to dip out. It's another group of people that wants me in their podcast, but the only thing I can say about Halo is, from what I'm to understand, according to them, from 343, they said they could not give you split screen because the way the game is made, they can't. I guess the Xbox just can't do all that. They would have to lower the frame rate, and the game is made like some games, like Fallout 4 is one of them. On PC, I don't know if the consoles work the same way, but on PC, if you unlock your frame rate and you put it like let's say you can get 120 frames, the game is locked at 60. So if you go up to 120 frames, the game is now like, frame rate makes things smoother. It's not really supposed to speed stuff up, but it's doing that in Fallout 4 because the math behind how things work, like the speed of something dropping, or the rate that you'll level up is not the frame rate. So the game now it will have issues if you unlock it. So according to them, if the game is not running at 60 how they want it, and they had to have lowered the frame rate to run it at 30, that means they would have to go back in, work it around, and make it work properly at 30 so they could give you split screen. Now LAN, I don't know. Now LAN is a little different, because I think LAN would have been just perfectly fine. But split screen,
they've been dropping LAN from PC and console games for years now. So I mean, but here's the irony: when they take the servers off of Splatoon, it supports LAN play.
I was about to go with
But
that.
Halo 5, well, I don't know if Halo 5 supports LAN play, but I know a lot of other games.
Well, this drop in LAN support's part of the reason why I don't buy Battlefield games anymore.
There you go. Let's see. Graham just basically dipped out. So my question, basically, I'll finish it off with it. You know what? I'll let since you joined a little late, I'll ask you a question. You said let you say it, and then I'm gonna go to my master of what I was trying to put together at the end of this podcast. Basically, we're talking about hype and reality, and how basically I list out a bunch of games that everybody had the hype, but in reality it does not match up because again, you go to Metacritic or other stuff. All these games gain 8s and 9s and 10s, which is weird. But again, all these stuff, even underneath the most arbitrarily reviews, like Metal Gear Solid got that had to be in a review camp and all this bullcrap. But then you go to the user of each you go to Metacritic, or if you want to go to IGN and everybody else, the user scores are nowhere close to it. Even at Amazon, nowhere close to it, to where they said they're gonna be. So, what do you think about hype versus the reality, SDF1?
Hype versus reality. Well, first of all, I think any corporate reviewer needs a very strong reality check.
Yep.
As for a lot of these YouTube reviewers, it's kind of a 50-50 thing. You know, some of them are getting sponsored, others are just, doing, or they're saying what they mean when they're reviewing these games. But a lot of it, it's not just hype. It's also biased, and whether that's biased against the game or biased towards the game, who can say, right?
Yeah.
But I think hype and bias both play a part when it comes to the score of these games.
Okay, I'll be 100% honest. I have a part, and I'm gonna put some more reviews on my channel, which is called the review discussion. I mean, my one is up front. I don't buy bad games, in my opinion. So I'm already biased because I buy a game that I'm gonna play. So I like it.
Well, I mean, biased.
No. I don't mean that's a negative.
No. I'm just saying that biased itself by itself isn't a bad thing.
Okay. No, I'm just pointing out up front that if I'm gonna buy something, because like I said, the only one game ever in my life as I ever returned was Shadow the Hedgehog. That's the only game I ever returned back to GameSpot. I don't blame you.
I'm sorry, Liger, but as a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, even I saw that bullocks.
Well, it had its problems in its way, but I bought it, and then I was that's the one and only game I ever returned. I never returned anything else other than that game. But any game I ever bought, I am going to be biased because, like I said, Senran Kagura, I could tell you what's wrong with it because, again, my outro is always there's no perfect game, and there never will be. But I could tell you what's wrong with the game, but still, is it enjoyable? Just like King just came and left.
Which one was this again?
Senran Kagura. Oh, I was just saying I could give you the negatives of that game. I can give the negatives of Bayonetta.
Yeah, which game were you referring to?
I mean,
which Sonic game?
Oh, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The moment you put a gun in the hands of a hedgehog, shit just went downhill.
It's not only the gun. It's also in when he was introduced in Sonic 2, Sonic Adventures 2, he was gliding on shoes. He was fast as Sonic, but they put him on a motorcycle in that game. Why? Why? I could respect Sonic All-Star Transfer Racing because Sonic could run fast.
Hogged all the power-ups.
Whatever. But my point basically in this right here is just like, look, I'll say this right here. Two things. Nobody could tell me now. Nobody ever could change my mind on this fact right here. Do not ever try to tell me, other than because I've seen it on the development side and as a consumer, because I could come with examples. Nobody come and tell me now that, oh, the third parties said the Nintendo Wii U software is weak. It is weak compared to consoles. Let me finish it off though. If you take the time to optimize the damn game, you could create an awesome game. Because Xenoblade Chronicles, playing that game and how seamless the load screens, and like I said, it ain't no load screens. It's big, open world. How can this weaker hardware does this game more than Fallout on technical high graphic PCs and stuff like that? And I don't have the frame rate drops down to sub 20 and 10. That's bullcrap.
To be fair, the Gamebryo engine isn't really a technically outstanding achievement, and I'm talking about the Fallout. Like, are you talking about Fallout 3 or Fallout 4?
4.
I mean, you
because
don't
Fallout
need to
4, because Fallout 4 is still using the Gamebryo engine, the same
Yeah,
engine.
they're using the same buggy, glitchy piece of you-know-what engine they've been using for the last 2 gens. So,
But yeah, but okay, so the problem with following the developers to what? Did they not optimize it for all three ports they have right now?
No,
Bethesda
they're
doesn't optimize their engine. They don't.
No.
That's the problem. That's why their games are so buggy. They basically get it running on their development PC, and then they start stripping out features to get it running on like mid-tier PCs and consoles now, since they started putting stuff on consoles, and then they basically fix problems as they pop up. That's all they do. It's
their optimization team might as well be a room of monkeys pounding on keyboards.
You know, you took it out of you took it out of my mouth. I was about to say their optimization team is a chimpanzee with a keyboard in front of them, banging on it on a PC. That's their optimization team.
But again, you have more RAM, more capability, hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, the optimization is bad, but then you get a team who's working on the Wii, which is again the weakest console, which again how the people pronounce it, it works perfectly. Then you have Shinin, an indie developer, making games, making Fast Racing Neo. They're also that's up to Nintendo standards. They're having freaking 4K textures in the damn game.
Well,
Nobody's
here's
talking
the thing.
about that.
No one's going to say that Wii U games, the well-optimized ones, look bad. They don't look bad. They look very good. But
well, I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about.
Could you get that same kind of clarity on a third-party game? And I think the answer would be no, because the amount of effects, the amount of other things that are going on screen. You got to remember, these Nintendo games are stylized in a very specific way. Look at like the Mario games. The worlds in Mario games are very staged-like, and I'm talking like the level you're playing on is essentially just this big floating piece of land, while everything else is just empty space. That's, if you know what I mean, you know.
Yeah, and to what you just said right there, I'm not even talking about like looking at graphics, or I know you might not be saying that. I'm just pointing out that too. I'm talking about optimizing the fully. It works, that have the glitches, the buggy messages. It looks good and it looks all right and it passes But you just said Nintendo games, it does that. The third party, to a degree. Look at the reason I'm bringing up Shinin is it's an indie team. It's an indie team, and they got their game running. So far, nobody's played it, so I'll back off on it if it does come out and it's a mess. Because I have not played it, but it looks like it's running perfectly on this system, and it has it's going at the speed, 60 frames per second. You have 7. They're doing stuff that bigger publishers that have billions of dollars ain't doing. So that's one of my points with people trying to tell me, oh well, no, you can't tell me that because Shinin's doing it. The people doing Affordable Space Adventure, the people who there are a bunch of games out there who are doing crazy stuff on the Wii U if you have the time to optimize it. And that's what we need, and half of the people rushing it, that's for sure, to get the game out.
Yeah, well,
and
the whole timestamp, the game must be released on this date and no later, is, I think, kind of that's the chokehold that really crushes
them.
Yeah.
And like I said, I understand it, being that I was a developer with EA and Ubisoft. But if you give
must have been hell.
It wasn't. That's not nice.
No, we're not gonna talk about the EA days or the Ubisoft days. All I'm gonna say about it is this. I guess the point that Liger is also trying to make is that the excuses are bullshit, basically. Like, I mean, you hear the same excuses from all these people. Well, it's the piece, it's the architecture. The architecture of the system is the problem. Okay, fair enough. It's PowerPC architecture. Here's the problem with your statement saying that it's a problem, especially a lot of these third parties. Last gen on the Xbox 360. They put the definitive versions of a lot of their games on the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 used PowerPC architecture.
Got him.
It hasn't really changed that much. development.
I mean, over the course of that generation, it changed a little bit to where you actually saw games looking better on the PlayStation 3.
No, that was towards the end, and most of that was a lot of third parties, and still there was a lot of technical marvels on the Xbox 360. So if I hear another developer,
I think the biggest technical marvel we saw on the Xbox 360, honestly, just saying, was Gears of War 2. No, Gears of War 2 and 3.
Look, all I'm going to say is this: there was Bayonetta. The definitive version of Bayonetta is on the Xbox 360. My point is this: a lot of these excuses that third parties make, and it's never the developers making these excuses unless it's Bethesda. It's always
Mad Studios.
It's always like some bullshit like publishers speaking, talking mouth that they have. Well, actually, I see, look, I'm not a hardware person, but, I can do critical thinking. And you look at things that are comparable. I know that PowerPC architecture is more efficient than x86. x86 is actually a garbage programming language. It's very inefficient. It's the reason why people are wondering why all these 8th gen games are so much bigger than last gen titles. Because they're using x86 architecture, which has a lot of bad coding. Okay, okay, and it's terrible. It's a lot of it's people coming up to you and they're saying this bullshit so that they can basically because they know that their audience doesn't know what they're saying. They're using technical jargon in order to basically sell you a line, and that bothers me.
But even the technical jargon they spew out, to those of us that know what they're talking about, even their jargon sounds,
made up.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, when they make the architecture argument, it's bullshit because you guys had no problem put a lot of these games. And here's the thing: like 60% of the games we're seeing right now on these next gen games, they could have been done on 7th gen consoles. That's bullshit. None of this stuff is really, oh my god, okay, maybe Xenoblade Chronicles X. Like, that seamless shit where they're just like going anywhere, I couldn't see that on the Wii on the Wii. But, a lot of this shit I'm seeing now, they're like, this is totally next gen. You could have done this on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. This started life last gen, didn't it? And you just kind of moved it along a little bit.
Well, yeah, you know what? But, okay, so y'all basically tackled what I was talking about. Really, that look, the game, the next couple of years coming up is gonna be crazy. We're gonna see more micros. Basically, I say speak with your wallet, and it looked like the masses of regular gamers have spoken with their wallet, and they're gonna keep on buying they're gonna do the pre-orders. They're gonna do the DLCs. They're gonna do all the microtransactions. Even though King brought up the point like that, because like I said, look, I bought Sales of Zestiria. I didn't pre-order that game because the pre-order was bullshit. Just was. I'm not gonna pay for no skins. I'm not paying for skins. An extra game, and also you locked away move sets. I wanted to play the game, but I'm not pre-ordering that. Zelda's coming out. Twilight HD. Again, I've said it's a prettier graphics looking good. Good. I want to see what more they could do with the game, but I'm not gonna. So far, it's not a buy for me because if they don't have the option of the Wii Remote Nunchuck, which a lot of people don't like, and I do like, I got it on the Wii.
I liked it too. Yeah.
I liked it on the Wii. So if I'm not gonna get that option, then just for prettier graphics, which I'm not a graphics whore, I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna stay consistent with me.
I just thought the Wii Nunchucks had like the most bizarre use of infrared tracking technology ever. Like, why would you have the camera in the controller and the LED lights on the bar?
Well, because basically because you're using the 2 axes to control where you're going up and up and down, and basically now that you have the gyros, you could do the Z action, which is a forward and back. And again, I don't know if you ever you know about a game name like Mr. Red Fox knows the game. Double M. Hopefully you bought it because I hooked you up with it. I still say it. Nobody has done what Red Steel 2 has done. I'm sorry. Nobody still has not done it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Move Sports Champions. I'm just saying.
No.
What?
No.
I have.
Whoa.
Wait. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. I have the Move controller. Now I'm gonna throw an example out. The frisbee game in that game. When you hold down the button and you're holding the frisbee, no matter what position you move your wrist, it copies you exactly. Even as far as if you bring the controller closer to the camera, the hand moves further away from the screen. You bring the controller closer to yourself, the hand moves closer to the screen.
Okay.
It was true 1-to-1. Even the way I flung my wrist, like when you throw a real frisbee, it veers off in certain angles, and I tested that in this game, and it did exactly like it would when I was throwing a real frisbee. The Move controller, despite having poor support and coming out when it did, was a true 1-to-1 controller. It just didn't get the support it deserved.
I give you that. I'm not going to deny you on the way that the Move was set up with the whole eye camera and the ball. But that what you just said about the frisbee, right? Can you go any further beyond? Can you give an example further beyond the other? Because of the support, you're right.
Okay, well, another example is if I was holding the controller, if I'm moving my hands up or down, the hand basically tracks everywhere you go, in every angle and position that you moved it. Same goes for that ping pong game. As simple as that is, the paddle. Like if you're contorting your wrist and turning the controller around, the paddle is doing that very exact same thing.
Okay. Well, let me. You know what? I'm gonna say anybody who needs. I'm trying to finish it up. Really, anybody who needs to leave. Thank you for joining the cast. To finish off what you said, SDF1. Okay. Red Steel 2 is 60 frames per second, fast action, playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You are blocking, you're dodging, you're swinging, you're slashing. You're doing multiple things with the 1-to-1 with that. And then you know what? If you want to go to that with regards of what you just said, there's the Move controls. There is Wii U controls with Zelda, with Zelda GoldenEye. Yeah, that you also do the same thing with the twist. And you could do this. You could move forward, and then sword moves forward, and it moves back. Same. And you.
I'm not denying that Red Steel 2 had 1-to-1 motion. That's a good thing, and more games should have had it. I'm just saying that it's kind of sad that the Move controller, which I think is a really good controller, didn't get the support it deserved. I just thought it was
one of the things I say didn't get the support it deserved because of which is the negativity to it, and that's why I keep on saying when everybody comes with Nintendo about they should have had the gamepad as a peripheral. I think to be honest to you, as a PlayStation, they should have had that at the beginning.
Yep.
Exactly.
If they had that at the beginning, and a lot of people jump into the development, you would get greater games. You'll get the No More Heroes.
Yes.
You'll get
the timing was very unfortunate.
Well, it wasn't even a timing thing. It was Sony being reactive and not Nintendo. The reason they created the Wii was for motion control.
Not the time. It's not even with the not just so the timing. The problem to me was, which this is from all peripherals. When you have to buy something different for just one game, it most 90% of the time it drops off.
It's not going to get adopted.
Okay, but it's not just one game. There are multiple games that employ.
No.
I understand what you're saying, but that's not the point. The point is that when you bought a PS3, it didn't come with it. Most of the games were not built around it, and then they added it when they saw the Wii taking off, and they were like, "Oh shit, we need motion control," and so they were like, "Okay, we'll do this." And the games that they had for it, most of the AAA developers would look at that shit and laugh. So it wasn't the whole console was not designed around that. They added it after the fact.
I'll give you that, but I'm just saying that if you look at the Move controller, it's very reminiscent of what Sony was doing with the PlayStation with the iToy back in 2003.
Yeah, and I found one at my Target. It was like $10 because they couldn't sell the shit. They just lying.
You ain't gotta say it like that, Red.
You're being pretty contentious here. I'm just trying to explain something.
I'm telling the truth. Look, Sony was being reactive. They were basically like, this shit's selling. We need to do this too. And they were like, there was no like, hey, maybe we need to create something that's really friggin' awesome and not a Wii Sports knockoff. And
let's avoid fingering Sony at being a copycat when the iToy came out in 2003, long before the Kinect was ever conceived.
I mean, let's be frank. Everyone steals stuff from someone in the video game industry.
Okay, let me just squash this right here because I don't want to be contentious. Look, my thing was that just as you brought up there, SDF1 with the Kinect. Look. When it's not a part of look at Xbox One. It was supposed to be a part of the game. The gamers reacted because they didn't want it in and they took it out. That developers didn't get a chance to make certain things for the game. The one that as Triple M corrected me on my last podcast with the Microsoft Smart Glass. That was supposed to be something reactive there, but the gamers didn't want it. They didn't want to use it. They took it out. If you're gonna buy peripheral after, not for one game or even two games, because again, even the Nintendo, what do you call it, the Wii Fit board.
I think every console had a set of peripherals at some point or other. Whether or not you enjoyed it was completely up to you. For the original Xbox, there was that $100 switchboard for what was it, Steel Battalion.
Oh my gosh! Oh god!
But my point, look, you brought it up. But look, I'm gonna say for Nintendo. Look how Nintendo had the Wii Fit board.
Yeah, they had the bongo drums for that.
Donkey Kong Jungle Beat.
Yeah, there's a Taiko game for PlayStation which uses these Taiko drums. There's peripherals that for many games out there, and when I saw the Move, I saw what they were doing back when they first brought out the iToy, because they were doing that stuff with colors. You'd bring a colored object up to close to the iToy. It would track that color on screen, and you could do different things. I saw them doing this years ago. When I finally saw the Move, to me it was like, oh wow, this is coming into fruition. So I bought one. The games that I play that use the Move work great. The problem is not enough people seem to like it, and then it got lost into obscurity.
Well, it goes to again being that it was a peripheral. The reason I'm not trying to say nothing negative towards that point. If let's put it this way, if the Move came out with a PlayStation 3 at the same time as the Wii came out with the same thing, it would have been a whole different story. I guarantee you that. It would have been a whole different story. But the Move didn't came out when the Wii came out. Because PlayStation came out before the Wii in America. If the Move was a part of the controller system that everybody had a chance to develop for, it would have been a whole different story. But because it was a peripheral later on that you had to buy, and people just got content with having the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation DualShock, and they didn't want to go to something experience. You're one of the ones who saw something different and enjoyed it. Nobody's knocking you for doing that, but the mass audience didn't go towards what you were thinking.
I know. I'm just voicing my disappointment in that regard. That's all.
Yeah, and that's what the problem is. If the Move came out exactly the same time as PlayStation 3 in 2006, I guarantee you the Move would have been more prevalent.
And Sony would have had a gold mine.
I think they would have had a gold mine too. Yes.
I liked I liked your response, Triple M, to that Steel Battalion controller.
When I first saw that I'm just going to call it a baseboard, because I almost flipped out, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is Gundam all over again. But yeah, seeing it that price point, I'm like, yeah, I can see why,
and that's also the next thing that hurts people is when the price point comes in. Like right now, if VR right now is going to be priced between $200 to $300, it's going to be an add-on. Huh?
400, 200 to 400.
400 for depending on who it is. I see when I was over in Japan, they had it. They would talk about the Oculus for 300. But anyway, point taken, it's still you're gonna buy a console for still $300, and you're gonna buy a VR to get the visuals for the next 300 or 200. Let's even make it to the cheaper side. Not many people are gonna buy that.
That's too expensive. I'm sorry.
Nobody's gonna buy that. That's one of the things I've said when if all these people had all this NX talk and all this crap, say about shipping set whatever for the whole console. Let's say it was for the whole console. It would make the console $500. I won't buy that. I don't give a damn.
No one's gonna buy that. I mean, I mean, do you honestly think someone who bought the Xbox One at launch, so it was basically $500 plus tax, and then they're gonna spend another $300 on a HoloLens or like that? No.
Virtual Boy.
Hey,
No.
Virtual Boy failed.
The Virtual Boy failed. It sold less than 100,000 in like 4 markets. And Nintendo did the smart thing and pulled it and said, "We'll go back and regroup."
Yeah, and it was its own system.
Yes, it was their 32-bit system.
It wasn't even like
Nintendo's
it was not like
32-bit
Virtual Boy was added on to the 64 or the NES.
Yeah, and it failed miserably. I mean, like, I don't know. People just don't understand that. I mean, in business, sometimes you got to say, you know what? Sometimes you got to support your product, and sometimes you got to just cut bait and swim. And sometimes you got to know when to roll them, you got to know when to fold them.
And to finish up to say that right there is like, look, I am 100% with SDF1 that the move could have gotten much more support, but because everybody got stagnant into using the controllers, that's what doomed it. Even if it was, people could say, even you could say rip off on Nintendo, not whatever, because the problem was people just didn't want to play with different style. That's why I keep on bringing up the Nelson report that came out earlier this year. People play PlayStation 4 for features, Xbox for online, Nintendo for fun games. Done. They said it. They went to all these things, and you know what? You pronounces his damn name right. But you know the Sony guy, the top guy. God dang it.
You could just call him Jack.
Well, that ain't Jack. I'm talking about Yoshida.
Oh, Yuichiro Yoshida, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said it.
We don't know why people bought this. That's what he said.
Yeah, but he also said why he bought 2 Wii U's. He said because it's for fun. Even Phil Spencer said the exact same thing. Now again, Reggie bought an Xbox One, and he said he likes the games on Xbox One because of the online. See, everybody has their weaknesses and strengths. But again, we are in this YouTube community going stupid over dumb things and not arguing facts. We're arguing just against opinions. You argue opinions if it's not based. If you don't like something, it's cool. But if it's not,
was it more than an hour ago?
Huh?
Because I put the clothes. I put my.
Oh, if you don't like the actions of what it is, it always comes out to be negative, and people bite your head out because you have an opinion about something, and your facts.
You got the rug inside the bathroom.
It's always
just throw it in there and just some water upon it. He pissed on the rug and I was drying him out.
If you have certain, how should I say? If you have certain facts. And your opinions you like something, you want it. If that's subjective, good. That's why I wanted this podcast to be not subjective, to be objective, because I'm seeing too many reviews that's going up that's idiotic. Nobody's calling out what they see when they read the reviews. Because even Kylie Plaguey from IGN, because I still don't, as Red Fox know, when you put it, and she said it again in the last NBC, and Pear made a joke about it, when she's like, oh, it's Pokemon, I wish they could do this, I'm happy that Lincoln's here, and all this crap. I'm like, yeah, but then you still gave a game a 7 because it's on an island and it's too much water, which is stupid to say that. Who would say? What would you say that for? And the same thing with the Halo thing. You were saying about this is the best guns in Halo franchise, but then they said 15 of the guns.
Still have problems with it.
It's about problems. They went back and forth, and now you got people going Halo 4 and Fallout 4, giving all this praise, even though it has glitches, even though it has slow down frames. Not saying that the game ain't great. My point is here, I'm trying to be objective. Just like how I could do it, Splatoon has problems, and me and Double M and everybody talked about it back then about it don't have no local play. They could do things about it.
Well, in regards to Halo, when did Halo first start getting the sprint option? Was that Halo Reach?
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta bounce.
No, it's alright. Go ahead.
Alright, catch up with you guys. Yeah.
I don't know. Anybody knows the answer to this one? Because I don't know. Because I didn't play Reach.
I'm pretty sure Halo Reach was the first Halo game to introduce a sprint option. But do you think that if the succeeding Halos didn't have sprint like the traditional Halo games, do you think that would have made a difference in whether or not they could have improved the frame rate? Because you're doing a rather jerky motion when you're running like that. I'm wondering if maybe that is.
I don't know. I think they built that game with a certain objective in mind, and I think that, I mean, I don't know. Halo is never going to be. Halo 5 is not is better than Halo 4, not as good as Halo 2 or 3, and it's. I guess it's a current gen Halo game. That's all I gotta say. It is what it is.
My thing is now you see the same thing in Black Ops that's coming out and that came out now and everything is that everybody nowadays these third party publishers and everything that I don't like is that they say we want more graphics, more power, more this, more that, more this, but then of course less features. My problem is they're going towards the graphics, as Red Fox brought up, and a couple other guys who bounced it out of here, King Jirachi, the same thing too. We're going towards graphics and not doing optimized, and we're not playing the damn games. Because there's no split screen option in some of these games that had split screen options. And then people are now, like I said, when Star Fox came out, people were bitching about Star Fox and say, okay, but you got 2 screens, but they're doing 2 screens and 2 different things, and you're playing it. So I don't get that.
I think somebody needs to wake him up.
It's late for him as hell, dude.
There's like a 5-hour time difference, so it's like
6.
They do 6-hour time difference.
Yeah, 6 hours for them because they do the time back. They do the daylight thing too.
It's 5 to 8 over here.
Yeah, he's real friggin'
early.
It's real like friggin'. It's like
2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning over in London. So. But no, that's my point with what's going on. I wish people could just be consistent with their reviews. I need gamers. Look, gamers are falling into this masses thing now. If you just talk about you love what the move done and they didn't support it. You're the weirdo.
The minority, I know.
You're the weirdo out of PlayStation guys. Red Fox, all of us who got Nintendos and everything, who got Nintendo games and stuff, who got consoles and stuff, we're the weirdos that we could say certain things and then people could fall back from it, but we don't follow the trends that because third party don't do stuff, we're not gonna be a part of it.
Well, speaking of the move, I have a collection of games here in my hand that I thought I just list off here, and each of these have move support. I probably have a few more, but I'm not going to go through the entire thing.
House of the Dead Overkill, Resident Evil, Darkside Chronicles, Umbrella Chronicles, Child of Eden, I guess, and what else?
Well, I was going to list off the ones in my hand, but okay.
I'm aware of it. You're kind of sweating too much on something. What was the main topic again?
sorry. Go ahead, Steve. Name your
Little Big Planet 2, Gran Turismo 5, Resident Evil 5, Sports Championship, obviously, Dance Dance Revolution, and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
Okay. Hey, you enjoyed the game of the move, haven't you?
I've tried at least 2 of. I tried Gran Turismo 5. Gran Turismo 5 had a neat little feature. If you had the camera pointing at you and you turned your head, the view on the screen would actually follow your view.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. But it goes, and again, Gran Turismo 5 adapted that. You're the only person that I ever heard talked about it as much as that. See, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying you see how the masses don't talk about this stuff.
Well, and that's the thing. Nobody talked about it. Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting, and it's kind of weird that people don't seem to mention any of this stuff, and then it just gets lost. It gets the knowledge is
And nobody or no other third parties look at it and then don't support it.
I mean, like who still remembers the webcam for the Xbox 360 back when it was a.
Oh yeah.
Did Microsoft really need the Kinect, or could they not just implement the webcam in some interesting way?
From what I remember, the webcam was kind of was very low quality, had like lag issues and stuff like that, and that's why it really didn't take off the way they wanted it to, because it was kind of cheap. I mean, to tell you the truth, even the Kinect 2.0, if you've seen people webcam with that, there's something off of it. Like, it's still kind of laggy. I don't.
It was actually weird. I was in a Skype chat with Zephyrnix, and he was sitting down on. He was clearly in a living room, sitting on a chair, and I noticed that the view seemed to zoom in on him a little bit. And then I asked him, "Are you using your Kinect? Or like, are you Skyping through your Xbox?" He says, "Yeah, I'm Skyping through my Xbox." And I figured that was the case because the view seemed to try and focus. It was trying to focus on him, and you know.
Yeah, that's the thing that always kind of got me about a lot of these peripherals. It's like you could tell that in the drawing stage, someone's like, "This is going to be a really good idea," but then they don't think about all the other stuff that goes into supporting that peripheral.
Tony Hawk skateboard.
Oh no, let's not talk about that. Come on. I mean, have we forgotten Ride? Oh God,
wasn't that available on all consoles, not just the Kinect?
Yes, it was on everything. The Ride was on everything, but it came with a peripheral because you could use that board that was totally useless.
That's a perfect example of what Red just said, that it didn't go beyond what it is. Again, I have no. Like I said, there are.
I think there was actually a chainsaw controller for Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4?
Yeah,
Really?
Resident Evil 4.
Let me put it this way: the best version of RE4 I've played was the Wii re-release with the Wiimote and nunchuck. Best way to play that game.
I don't know. See, to me, the best version of a game is usually the original release. So
the GameCube version was good, but the Wiimote changed it up. It's like the best version of Metroid Prime is the Metroid Prime trilogy with the Wiimote controls, because they're so much better. The gaming is just
I'll just say that to you, SDF1. Not all games could say that, because again.
Yes, Resident Evil 0 and Resident. Yeah, the remakes that they made for those for the HD consoles do look incredible. This is true.
Yeah. Not even that. Like even Okami. Even with Okami, Hideki Kamiya himself said that the Wii version was better than what he did for PlayStation 2.
What are you talking?
He's the head of the game. So I'm just going.
Ready at Dawn ported the game to the Wii, not the original team.
To what?
Ready at Dawn ported Okami to the Wii, not the original team.
Yeah, I know, because they had destroyed Clover, or they ran off Clover and it became Platinum. But it's still a relatively good port. As a matter of fact, I mean, the thing is,
and I actually looked at the comparisons between the Wii and what they did with the Wii version. They actually removed the Oriental palette filter, which kind of took away from the feel of the game.
Yeah, whatever. It's they removed a lot of stuff from that game. When Clover left, like all the Clover references have been scraped from that game, which is terrible.
And then when Hexadrive makes it on the PS3, I guess it's rendered in 4K and then output to 1080p.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, they call that game Okami HD. That game is not HD. it's not HD.
It's higher than HD.
It's not. No, let me put it this way: they up-res the textures, but it's not HD on PS3, because I have like three versions of it.
I have the game.
I have it on PS2, PS3, and Wii, and it's not HD on PS3.
Well, that kind of throws in the face of what they say about Hexadrive rendering the game in 4K on the PS4 and outputting to
They lied. They lied, because I mean I've played enough HD games.
The game runs on a frame buff. The game runs on a frame buffer of 3840 by 2160. You can't tell me that's not HD.
Look. They can call it whatever the hell they want. They probably use HD textures, but that is not It's not running in HD.
Okay, let's squash that one, because I don't even know what you guys are going with that part.
You'll have to give me some research, because I already destroyed Sonic and Tails for life in that argument.
Look, all I know is if Hideki Kamiya, the guy who basically made the Okami, the developer, and he basically said that the best version was on the Wii. I'm going by what the guy who made the game says. That's just me. Call me stupid for following the guy who made the game.
I mean, I can post my link to the gameplay video again if you want.
I'm not saying gameplay play. I'm talking about he's the one who made the game. That's him calling it that. I'm not talking about anybody else saying other than the guy who made the game. If you think it, I'm not talking. That's all I'm pointing out right there.
Well, okay. Why is Anderson here saying that? Didn't Kayama say that the Wii version was junk?
The what?
He wrote a comment here saying, "How do you pronounce his name?"
Anderson Archola.
No, Kamiya. He's talking about Hideki Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya did not say it was junk. He said it was, well, Hideki Kamiya did not say that. He said it was the best. He said it was the best version because you could do the style with the movie with the remote. He liked the motion of it.
That's the only reason he said it was better.
Well, excuse me for him saying it again. He's the one who made the game. Why are we arguing about what the guy who made the game says? That's what the part that kills me.
Well, I'm hearing one thing from one person and I'm reading something from someone else.
Look, okay. Again, that's you guys. What you just said. What you just said, SDF. That's what you say. That's the only thing that made it better. Yes, him saying that. Same thing with Shinji Mikami. With the same thing when Resident Evil got over-ported to the Wii. He felt it was better. He liked the one on the GameCube, and then he didn't like it when Capcom broke the contract to put it on the PlayStation 2. He hated that. I'm not saying I'm not talking about the graphics and stuff. It's the feel of the game. Hideki Kamiya himself said that stuff. He didn't say it was junk. I don't know where that came from. And also, I did, like I said, I met the guy twice and talked to him about certain things about the game. So I'm just going off what the guy who made the game said. That's all I'm going off of. I'm not saying anybody's opinion off of it. If you think the game was trash, okay, that's your opinion. I'm just saying the person who made the game said which is what
I never said the game was trash. I'm just saying.
No. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
If anything, I actually thought it was kind of cool that they used the Wiimote for the for Okami.
Yeah, I was not saying USDF one. I was just saying I'm going off for the guy. If Bill Gates said he made the best, he made this version or whatever, and he liked it. Hey, he's the guy who made it. I can't go against what he said because he's the one who made it. He knows the intricacies of things. That's one of my things being an industry person. That if somebody outside who never makes something says an opinion without doing the same thing that person did it, then I'm gonna go with the person who did it. I'm just sorry. That's just what it is because they know the intricacies of coding and doing the game. I don't care what IGN says. I don't care what anybody says when they say certain things because.
Well, you won't hear me referencing too much about IGN or these websites.
Yeah, if they said the definitive version to them was the HD version, that's them. But again, same thing with Bayonetta. We know that Bayonetta on the PlayStation got a bad port from Sega. Nobody could argue against that. But
I'm not going to argue that at all.
No. Yeah, I'm bringing up that if the people who make those games say what they said, I'm going with them. That's just the way I look at it. That's one of my last video when I said if you don't know how to develop the game, make a game in the first place that you could stop your whining. For those gamers out there who do the whining, if you can't do that, then I just shun you off because you don't know what it is to code, do these things, do all these games. All these guys who hate Star Fox for the graphics. Do you know how to make the graphics? Do you even go to graduate from college to do graphics engine? Do you even know anything about it? Some people think on Unreal Chart whatever the Unreal Engine, everybody thinks always it's just graphics. The Unreal Engine does other things too other than graphics, but everybody thinks just graphics.
Physics, right?
Well, no, the Unreal Engine does water simulations, does a lot of other stuff.
No, yeah, it's physics. And you know what? Yes, all of us knows that. But my point is, you heard the typical game when they say about Unreal Engine. Oh, the graphics looks just more better. That's just a typical gamer that's saying that. They don't know the physics. They don't know, like you said, the water physics, and spatial jumper physics as well too. Some games could do that very well. It's just more than what gamers. And you basically pointed it out. A lot of gamers talk stuff they don't know about, and that's all I'm trying to put out right there. That right now in the industry we have it going on right now, we have reviews this game messed up. People got buying into the hype, then they fall flat, then they don't, and then of course you would think if something happened before, like Batman, like Assassin's Creed, like something else that happened bad before, you would temper down your expectations, but it doesn't. It doesn't. But so far in the 8th generation, it has not materialized. People are still hyped for the next game, even the last game was broken. That don't make no sense to me. So, I don't know. Everybody's getting hype. I can guarantee right now, a lot of people's hype for. Like I said, I hope, but I'm happy that, the team for Naughty Dog did the same thing for Uncharted. I hope that, like I said, they get everything working right. The bugs are out of it. Everything good. When it comes out for PlayStation, people play. But again, just keep your hype to what the game is. Just go off of what the other game was and enjoy. The same thing with Star Fox. Same thing with Horizon. Everybody got this super hype for Horizon, but they don't know what's going on with that game. When Horizon comes out, just keep it tamped down. Games that have, like, I would say, games that are new IPs, I give them a really low drop because I want to say, you know what, this is the first time they go out. Let's see what's going to happen, and that's the way I look at it. So Horizon, I'm not gonna say if they say it's good, ain't have no buggers and ain't not patchy or ain't got no crazy DLC crap with it, and it deserves an 8 or 9 or I ain't gonna say 10 because no game's perfect. A 9, then hey, that's good. I would have low expectation, and when they go play, you'll have fun with it. But people are putting these massive hype on these games, and then again, the review scores never reflects the review scores never reflects the user scores.
Yeah.
And that's
problem.
Like
every Metal Gear game. Like Metal Gear is like it's a 9.5, it's a 9, and then the users are like it's like a 7.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, users could be dead ass jerks.
Yeah, they could.
They could be dead ass jerks because you can see people just put 10 and don't put no reason behind it on Metacritic or IGN or GameSpot or Game Trailer or whatever you use as a filter. But yeah. It's still the consistency of seeing what happens. It still makes sense because if that's the case, then and being a fanboy, as most people say, then why would Yoshi's Wood of War got a 7, but you go to the IGN page, the user score is like an 8, or flipped over that same way too. So it's just weird. It's just weird. I hope people could just, again, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, if you bought these games and you enjoy them, I'm not attacking you. I'm looking at things objectively. If you enjoy them and you bought them, because I bought Codename Steam, and Codename Steam got a 3 from GameSpot and Polygon, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. It never got broken, it never glitchy, it never was a frame drop, but it got because they didn't know how to play the game. Yeah, that's in bad territory. 3 is a bad game. But
I have that game and it's really good, but I'm also I'm also a huge Star Trek fan, and a lot of the people that do voices in that game are from Star Trek. So I'm like, but I'm like, I gotta get this.
Yeah, but my point is still the gameplay is solid, and the mechanics is straight. Now I ain't gonna say it's a 10, I ain't gonna even say it's a 9, but my point is it was the first offering. It came out. I saw more than a 3 in that game, and I enjoyed it. And if anybody else out there see a game that's bad, like right now, Rodeo Sky just came out. People might not like it because it's getting 6s and 4s or whatever, but people might pick it up and enjoy it. And if you bought Metal Gear Solid 5, and I hope you didn't pay for the damn insurance, but there you go. You got to pay insurance for a base with DLC, with microtransaction, all that stuff. But the insurance in Xenoblade, no, that's in-game money. You got to do no DLC for that crap or microtransactions. Let's just call bullshit where bullshit needs to be called. That's my point. And I didn't mean this podcast to really get that far along, because if we got people sleeping on our podcast, it's damn long. So, like I said, right now I'm gonna end it off right now, man. Like I said, hopefully you can check out Red Fox. He has his bus, the BS bus that's gonna happen next week, right?
Yep, BS Busters next week, Sunday, 4:30, hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll be talking about East versus West, Japan versus the world, and we'll talk about how there's kind of a war between of the Eastern developers versus the Western developers, but not really. It's just a fabrication, but how it's like a proxy war for something else in the video game industry. So it's gonna get deep. It's gonna get deep.
Okay, and of course, I mean, like I said, you joined us a little late, so I can't. It'll be cool to have the input a little further up, but I know you've been putting up some gameplay videos as well too, SDF1 on your channel.
Yeah, I got some Half-Life 2 stuff going on right now.
What's the? You have the, but don't you have like Disgaea or something? Some kind of look like that. What's the?
Oh, Disgaea 3, Absence of Justice.
Okay, yeah, I know it was
That's
something
a
I was
really good
watching. Yeah, I know I saw that game and I was like, okay, I watched that one, so that's pretty good. So check out those at SDF1 channel. I know before I finish, I gotta say one more thing, because it's in my video, but I'm gonna say it right here. Look, people, Square Enix, Nintendo did not went begging to Square Enix to put this stuff on their game. Okay, so stop that nonsense.
I didn't even know about that, so.
No, not yes. No, because the Direct just came out and the Square Enix Japan is supporting a lot of games on Nintendo. They did not.
Nintendo does not beg.
They did not.
Square Enix has a nice long history with Nintendo. I'm not surprised about any of this.
No, but they again, Nintendo owns 30. Well, technically, again, if you look at the real share, they own 60% of the market in Japan. And Square Enix Japan was losing money, and Square Enix Europe, which is the parent company, was basically screwing Japan. So Japan said, "F you, we're gonna do our deals and have our fun." So you got Cloud, you got Dragon Quest 7 and 8, and of course I think 9 and 10, 11 is gonna come later on, and they're gonna because if they were smart, I still don't know why did they let Nintendo publish daily Bravely Default 2nd, because if they wanted the money, they could have published it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, but it's not Nintendo. Huh?
I will say one thing about that Cloud Strife being on Smash. Now, I'm hoping that that deal to have Cloud Strife on Smash is that at least the Final Fantasy VII has to come in a Nintendo product, because if that game does not, I feel like Nintendo got the raw deal.
I don't think so.
No, they didn't. They're going to get a lot of people who weren't interested with the Wii U to get that game, because it has Cloud Strife in a good fighting game. Because see, I remember when they put him in Air Guys God Bless the Ring on the PS1. That game was ass. So he's going to be in a good fighting game. So I mean, it's a win-win for everyone. It's a win for Nintendo. It's a win for Square. It's a win for the market. Even though I'm kind of mad because the dude didn't earn the right to be on a Nintendo console, but hey, whatever.
This was not a ballot. This was not out of the ballot, people. The ballot's gonna happen in December. Sakurai did a deal with these guys.
Yep.
This was not in the ballot. The thing that they had. Sakurai wanted to add it on his Square Japan. Say, okay, let's do it. Whatever. If Final Fantasy VII does not come on the NX or the Nintendo, I don't think it's a bad thing. Why? Because most of the people. Look, Kingdom Hearts, the 3D version of the full game version is known for Sony. You don't need to be in a Nintendo. I don't need every single game to be on my console of choice. I don't understand that thinking of people come up with that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just have fun. Whatever comes. If it don't come, if Final Fantasy VII remake comes to it, it'll be good. If it comes, it's cool. If it don't, it don't. I don't think it's that. Sakurai said, "Hey, can I have Cloud Strife?" They wanted. This is a good inception to all the other games that Square's put on the Wii U. Hey, they've done it. That's the deal. A lot of people think too deeply into this crap, really, and that's going back to. That's why I said that's why I said at the top of the game when I said I'm in the industry. I'm supposed to be the person worried about all the contracts I'm doing, millions of dollars and everything else, but I don't care. And you got as gamers who just spend maybe $500 at the most in most cases, and y'all get PC, just pussified, just doing stupid shit.
They do. They just can't deal with it. They're like,
I'm the one supposed to be more agitated and be like, why this is happening, whatever, because I got money on the line.
Yeah. I know how you feel. Like I make my living off of like enticing people to come to a bar and buy booze with arcade machines. So if Namco Bandai, even though I hate them, if they go under, that's my ass, because they make a lot of arcade games. You know?
Yeah.
That's really like.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's the way I look at things. So I am 100%, like I said, if it doesn't come, it comes. If it don't, it comes. But again, I've seen, because NVC's talking this crap around IGN and everybody else talking about, look, Nintendo did not went to these guys. They came to them because they saw that they're losing money, and they say they're the dominant market. Let's make some games on there. Happy that they said they're gonna put it over to American market and get extra money. That's it. Done.
Yep.
Simple. I don't go beyond that thought. It's all about money. I'm
gonna get mad because I'm a Dragon Quest fiend.
But I'm saying it's all about the money. Done.
Yeah.
Don't think of anything beyond that, people. Just let it be. Yeah. Enjoy the game that comes out, and if you don't like it, don't buy it. Simple. Yeah. So with that said, let me end this long ass podcast. Okay, just got up in the weeds. It got too damn long.
You had your fair little bit of drama there as well.
Yeah. So I'll like I said, check out Red Fox for his podcast, and also check out check out a couple of his videos, as he did a video before and a video this week that points out that the ethics of YouTube is just kind of underhanded. And I don't like I said, it's kind of messed up. People would do stuff like that, but that's the YouTube industry we're in right now. People don't care about rules or regulations or nothing. They just want to play the got you game like they're freaking politicians or something up in this game.
Yeah, until the real politicians come knocking on their door.
Yeah. So whatever with that game, like I said, FDS1 has a couple of stuff on there. So you know what? Anyway. Just go out, guys, buy the games, look at what's going on. If something's messed up, don't buy it, and stand by your stance and speak with your wallet. Simple as that. So there's no perfect game out there for you guys. There's no perfect game out there for nobody. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply play your games. Have a good night. Sorry for the long podcast.